Hollabaug's Willow Tree Cafe in Sanford. I mean, not only is it a destination that the world knows about, people come to Central Florida to go to Hollabaug's. It's that famous.
Well, it's like, where else can you get delicious, traditional German food? German fare, like the real stuff, the real pretzels, the real schnitzel, the real spatzel, the real sausages, all of it.
Live German music.
Yeah, and then they're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So every time you go, trust me, there will be something new. Chef Pat just rolled out a brand new menu for a brand new concept that opens tonight. I think they're doing a soft opening tonight. It's called Oberkeller. It's almost like, and they don't like this term, but it's like small plate or tapas.
Yeah,
but think
German
all
tapas.
your German favorites.
Yeah, and then have some beers at their beer garden.
Oh, my God, man.
I mean, if you haven't seen the renovation, it's been a year and a half or so since they renovated everything, but their upstairs beer garden
charcuterie plates, deviled eggs, you got the pretzels, you got, I mean, you name it, they got it. They even have the outfitters where if you want to walk over there and dress head to toe German before you go in, you can do it. If you want to stop by the market and get to-go meals, spaghetti ice, Haribo gummy bears, sugar-free gummy bears, the ones made with the fruit pectin. If you have some German bike shop, there's got a bike shop. If you need a bike to ride there, dressed in German, eating your gummy bears, they can do that too.
If you got some German relatives that you want to take them to a traditional German market that's going to have German groceries,
you will impress them.
you will impress them.
One of the greatest things, not to get sappy, but one of the greatest things we ever did with Andrea's Polish grandparents before they passed away was take them to Hollabaug's so they could see the music. They got them, they're dancing, they're kissing each other. I mean, it is...
Do a shot ski.
It's the place. Like, if you haven't taken your family there, it's not an event. Smart. You're missing out. You got to go.
And you know, we say take your family because you're like, oh, well, my kids are picky.
No, they'll love it.
They have really good kids menu. When I take my boys,
and the entertainment, they got live music.
My kids are the pickiest kids ever, and they love Hollabaug's because Hollabaug's provides a really good kids menu. Some grilled cheese with some goldfish and gummy bears mixed in, and stuff that they like.
Something for everybody.
And then as an adult, you can have some delicious German cuisine, all the schnitzel and everything.
It's just so good. Check out the website for priority seating, for catering. I mean, you can check out Oberkeller, the Outfitter, the new art house, the beer garden. What am I missing?
And when you're at Hollabaug's...
The Joint.
Yeah, the Joint in West End.
Hollabaug's, they have an off-site new concept that's inside the West End Trading Company that is elevated bar food. So while you're there checking out some Florida reggae, you get a Wagyu slider and shoot yourself to the moon.
Yeah. Those wings are delicious.
They are so good.
Ask for a pin when you're at Hollabaug's too.
Yeah, ask for Chef Pat. He likes to know that you guys are there.
Yep, and so we constantly do new pins. It's Hollabaug's Willow Tree Cafe in downtown Sanford.
Then we went to a water park that's owned by Six Flags. It's called White Waters.
Yeah.
It's a strange name for the park, considering no one white is in there. But no, it's not. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It's just an observation. But no, it's Action Park.
Oh.
It's Action Park. I have bruises from White Waters. We go in, we buy our tickets, and...
is it like a small town water park, or...
No, I mean, because it's owned by Six Flags, it's probably the biggest water park I've ever seen in my life. And it's humongous with so many slides. I got a question about water parks. Why every water park on the face of the planet, why has every water park got one slide that doesn't run? Why?
Well...
Somebody got hurt real bad on it, probably.
But then tear it down. Like, there's always... Because those are the ones I want to ride. I look over and I see the one with the leaves.
Too much work. Just leave
and I see the no water on it, and I go, well, that looks fun. Let's do it. Let's fire that. Put some water on there. Let's wet it down. Let's go.
I don't know what goes into the engineering of water slides.
I don't think a lot. I don't think a lot. I'll tell you why. The first ride...
One bad mistake, and they're done.
The first ride we went on was called the Tornado, and it's a four-person raft. And I know you hate water parks, and this one may have had the most pee.
I don't hate water parks.
Well, this one had the most pee of any water park, guaranteed. And we get on it. I'm in the anchor position. Andrea's to my right. Maisie's to my left. And you're sitting in like one of those like family tubes.
Yeah.
And the first drop, you just go down into like what looks like a giant tornado. But you drop straight down. So when we went, when we dropped, I stood up because I had no choice. I was just standing because I'm going straight down. So as we drop, I'm like, I'm just like, straight down. And then
break your kneecaps.
Yeah. And then it was just, oh man, really, 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 really rough. But the one that got me was one called the Dragon's Tail. And we stood in line for like 30 minutes because Maisie had to ride the Dragon's Tail. And this one, it's one of these ones that's like goes down straight down the hill, but it has a lot of whoopies. Kind of like, remember when it was big at the fair, you would go and you'd walk up the big staircase and you'd get the potato sack and you'd go down the potato sack slide.
Yeah.
It was like a potato sack slide, but for wet humans.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
So I started it, but it's got the bar, the start bar. And I'm a huge fan of the start bar. And if you don't know what that is, it's you hold it. It's like what skiers hold. And then it goes, doot, 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 doot. Yeah! You pull yourself as hard as you can. Well, I saw that, and
says prepare for major airtime as you bound over a series of 3 very steep sudden drops without warning.
Yeah, I didn't know you would get airtime. So I'm like, watch, I'm going to show, I got to impress my daughter. She's been hanging with, a bunch of super athletes over the weekend. I got to show her that
I can at least go down a water slide.
I can at least go down a water slide. And I go, yeah! And I go, and when I get to that second whoopie-doo, I get airborne and my leg comes out. And it whacks on the side. He's like, yow! And I almost came out of it because I'm shaped like a ball.
Yeah. People,
I'm round.
The ball.
Yeah, they didn't expect the balls are coming. Yeah, and I rolled down that thing, and I went out. It was like they came over, like, sir, are you fine? Because when I went up, it was like, sink. And when I hit, I kid you not, it was like on the fiberglass, it was like, go!
We got a code 2 ball.
Code 2 ball.
We got a dead ball down here.
White ball.
But yeah, Dragon's Tail is where it's at. Very dangerous. My wife is bruised. I'm bruised.
The older water parks they're built before everybody is so crazy.
Yeah.
So they had a little more extreme aspects.
Six Flags in general, I think, are more extreme rides.
Well, one of the flags is a Confederate flag.
Six Flags.
Yeah,
somebody told me that.
There's still some accidents.
Somebody told me that. One of the flags is a Confederate flag. I didn't know that.
Oh my God.
I didn't know that. It's one of the 6.
That's number 2. It's right after the American flag.
It was great. I wouldn't put it up there as like one of my highlights, but it was still, we had a good time. We enjoyed the slides. I have a funny story that I'll tell on the BDM show about an altercation that I had. I know you guys are big fans of confrontations. Ross does confrontations on the Friday Free Show.
Yeah.
I had a confrontation at the beginning of the water park before we ever got in. So I'll tell you about that.
Little Hooch, Lazy River.
Yeah, I went in the Little Hooch.
You had a full-blown American summer.
Yeah, you did.
You go to a Falcons NFL training camp.
Yep.
Baseball.
I haven't even talked about the baseball game.
Yeah. So you went to a Braves game.
Coca-Cola World.
Yeah, we went to World of Coke. Maisie loved World of Coke.
Me too when I was a kid. It's great for a kid.
It really is.
What's in there?
Coke.
Coke's from all around the world.
Yeah, but how big is it?
It's huge.
You watch movies, you ride rides. It's got
what kind of rides are there?
just dumb, like people mover stuff. It's not like roller coasters. It's just like, installations.
Okay.
Exhibits.
But it's all about
Coke.
It's
and
like
the
a Coke
history
museum,
of Coke.
but you also get to taste all the Cokes from around the world.
Yeah, they hire some really good, I got to give these guys their flowers. They hire really good people to present. So the guy that talks to you is good. He's not boring. He's like a young, hip, like he kind of looked like Wiz Khalifa, and then he gave you he was cool and made noises and did stand up, kind of like a presentation. It was good.
As the host.
Yeah, he's like the host. And then you go through and you look at a lot of memorabilia, and then they always do different installations. Like the one that they were working on this particular summer was the different fragrances that they use and flavors that they use in their sodas and how they represent the country. So they had this one soda from Chile that you would smell, and then you would go over and they'd show which berries they used, which essence of cocoa powder they used.
All right. Okay. I had no idea they made different countries Coca-Cola smell differently.
Yeah. It's all they have you have sodas from Morocco, sodas from Italy, sodas.
This Coke smells like BO.
Which one is that? Don't say it. Yeah, it's a lot of that. It is a lot of that. There's one soda in there called Beverly that you have to get your kid to drink a full cup of Beverly because it tastes like garbage.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is the best one. I fill it up. I'm like, here, drink it. It's great.
She never did that at Disney?
No.
They have the Beverly at Disney.
No, she's never been in that little area
Do they charge you to get in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But it's not, again, it's like, I think it was $18 a person. It's not, like, they know what they're doing, and they know they're going to get you. And
what's the Slime World?
Okay, so I guess there's only 3 of these. There's 3 different locations of this place, and the only reason Maisie knows about it is from YouTube, but they're called Sloomoos. And it's the Sloomoo Slime Institute.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Some garbage Andrea
You can't say that anymore.
Yeah, I know. Well, I called it slow-mo, and then the guy's like, oh, no, it's slow-mo. And I was like, why? Because there's not any slow people here. And he's like...
And this is a brick-and-mortar place. Okay.
It's huge.
Okay, giant.
It looks like an institute.
Okay.
Chicago, New York, and Atlanta.
In Atlanta, yeah. So we went to the Atlanta one, and it was like one of those days where we didn't have anything planned.
Smart
it was
business
loose.
model. Kids love the slime.
I told Andrea that... we're talking about it now, but off air, I told Andrea, I go, if Tom and I had the money, I would open a goddamn Sloomoo in Orlando, and I would crush.
Makes sense, yeah.
Why is there no
why do they not have a
Sloomoo?
I'm sure they're working on it.
They gotta be. Well, no, I asked the lady that's the manager. She was really nice. She's like, nope, the next one's in Houston. I was like, well, they gotta be planning it.
So what is it?
Okay, so I guess it's a company that makes slime, but they also have these little institutes that you can go to. They teach you about the chemical process of slime, because you're using, I guess, borax and Elmer's glue in order to make.
Okay, so they teach you how to make the slime.
Yeah, and then you can go to all these different rooms, and they have hundreds of combinations of crazy slime with sponges in it, balls in it, charms in it, slick slimes, crazy slime, metal slime, shiny slime, like anything you can think of. And then at the end, you get to make your own slime. They give you a little thing. You can put whatever scent you want in it. You can put charms in it. You can put whatever color you want in it. And slime making. And was not my highlight. Maisie loved it.
Yeah, it's for the kids.
Yeah.
But so, what is it? Something you pay for?
Oh yeah, you pay a lot,
and then you get to take home the slime.
Yes,
I'm sure.
You keep the slime. So
how long is the whole thing? Like
there's 7 different rooms. Oh, you can stay as long as you want if you're playing with the slime.
Each room you make your own slime.
Well, each room you go into and you really just you play with the slime. They've had somebody in there that's already made it. So I think the first room we went into, there were 3 different types of slime. Then there was one where you could hook a heart monitor up to you and it would like bubble the slime based on your heart movement. Cool. Then they had a room you go into where you took a water balloon slingshot. I think there's a video on Andrea's.
You shoot the slime.
You shoot the slime at your child, and she's behind a piece of plexiglass. Like she puts her face right up to it, and you can. You could kill her if you hit her in the face with it, but there's a pice of plexiglass, and he just goes gang like right in front of her, and it scares her.
Because I was about to say, like, how much can you do with the slime? But now I'm now that I'm hearing
they're stretching it out. Pun intended.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, one, the heartbeat slime, you shoot the slime.
Yeah.
Is there one you pour the slime on your head?
You could get slime.
Okay.
Yeah, we chose not to do that one.
Can you put your feet in the slime?
You can. They have a lake. They have a lake.
A slime lake?
Lake Sloomoo.
Okay.
Yeah. They have 2 Sloomoo lakes.
And you get in there fully clothed?
Well, you can't go. You can only go about ankle deep. I mean, they're
So you just walk in it without your shoes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's funny how much because there's only a certain amount of things
only
you
so
can
much
do.
you can do.
Is there any edible slime?
At some point, no. There's no edible slime. And you got to wash your hands before you go in there.
Do they let only a certain amount of people in at a time?
Yeah, they do. Okay. They do it in like groups of 10.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just trying to figure out the business model here.
I'm asking any questions.
It's pretty good because the overhead,
it's nothing.
Yeah, it seems like all the price goes into the employees. That's hard to find, but other than that,
and that was what I told Andrea. The employees are hard to find, and they had really good ones. Like they had like really charismatic, like guys that were good with kids.
Yeah,
guys and girls, but mostly guys that would just be like, "Hey, you want to play the?"
Well, they probably grew up making slime video. They're probably slime video influencers.
Oh, they're very young. They're very young guys.
Yeah,
but all like very good with children, knew what they were doing, kind of a thing.
Because the slime videos have been around for a little bit.
Oh,
right?
I hate slime. I hate it.
They've been around for 8 years or so.
I hate it, and Maisie knows I like slime, so I was taking one for the team and doing this. I hated it. I don't like slime. I don't like it. I don't like, and you know how hard it was for me as a dad to not complain about having my hands smell like pumpkin pie the entire day, because I stuck my hands in stupid pumpkin pie slime, and then it would not go off, and it wouldn't come off my hands for 2 days. I took a shower at the Airbnb, and it was like scrubbing my hands with every soap. I got to get this goddamn pumpkin pie off. I could not get it off.
All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we're going to make fun of Kenny.
All right.
Because he's going through some sort of crisis.
He's having a moment. My God, he's got mermaid hair. He's sitting down in the lobby with mermaid hair.
So we'll be right back with more Corporate Time.
It is another Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Let's not waste any time, because I know we were super excited about this, and finally we get to ask many questions that are stuck in our brains about NFL, sports, and stuff like that, and the like.
Yes. Before we even start, I'll kind of explain how this happened behind the scenes. So I get an email from BDM Corey Davis.
Yeah.
And he tells me about his company, Bear Down Logistics, who's a sponsor of our show now. And if you're in the need for any commercial moving, if you're a business that needs something moved, contact Corey. His number is 407-308-0490. He's a BDM. He'll help you out.
For all like seminars, you're moving all the stuff over to convention center, stuff like that. They can move it.
And so as we're talking, having the meeting, the initial sales meeting where I'm telling about the show and what our packages are and everything, and he's telling me about Bear Down Logistics and what they do, and trying to figure out, okay, I know there's some BDMs that work for companies out there that use logistics companies like this to move items, so maybe they can suggest to their boss or even their own company, hey, I could use Bear Down, especially because Corey's going to give you personalized customer service.
There you go. That's the way it works.
At the end of the conversation, we started talking about it. He's like, you may know our owner of Bear Down Logistics, Desmond Clark. And I'm like, Desmond Clark, the tight end for the Bears? Is he owner of Bear Down? And then he's like, yes. And then I'm like, well, now the deal is sealed because I want to talk to Desmond. And
it takes a lot to move his needle. Like you see his hair flew up in the air like that.
And in studio with us right now is Desmond Clark. How you doing, Desmond?
I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, thanks for the time, man. We appreciate you being here.
So I got excited because Desmond, I watched you play, you did play for the Dolphins one year, but primarily with the Bears. And so let's start from the beginning because you went to high school in Lakeland, correct?
Yeah, went to Kathleen High School, not too far away from here, down in Lakeland, Florida. So that's where it all started.
Nice.
And from there went to Wake Forest and then on to the NFL.
So Desmond, now I'm curious because you can kind of give us the insight into being a high school athlete and obviously being a really good, highly recruited high school athlete and what that means and how early do you
it means a different thing now, but back,
a totally different thing now.
That was in the 90s. Obviously, you got drafted in 99. So, like, being a high school athlete back then, did you know and did people start even early on when you're a freshman or something, like, because of your athleticism? Did people start saying, like, hey, you get a college scholarship and you may, you can make a living at doing this? Like, how early did you find out that you may have the goods?
Well, it didn't play out like that because I wasn't this superstar athlete in high school.
Okay.
The superstar athlete in my high school was Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis was there. Okay.
Yeah.
Ouch. What are the chances of that?
God.
All the athletes in all the high schools. I did not know.
It's like you show up for tryouts and you I think I'll put my name up here, and you look and you just see Jordan. You're like,
exactly.
I'm not going to do it.
And what class difference between
He's 2 years older than me, so he played 2 years with my older brother. I played 1 year with Ray.
Okay.
Nice. You guys may also know another first-round draft pick by the name of Freddie Mitchell.
Yeah.
So Freddie Mitchell, I was his quarterback in high school. I was 2 years older than Freddie Mitchell. A lot of people also may know of a kicker that used to turn his back to the football, Paul Ettinger, that kicked for Michigan State and the Chicago Bears. I was his holder in high school. Another second-round pick that went to the Minnesota Vikings, not as well known because he blew out his knee his second year in the league. He went to Virginia Tech. Torian Gray was also from Kathleen High School. So we had a number of those guys. They were highly recruited. We had another guy that never made it. His name is Ken Bridges. he's the reason why I was recruited, because he was our top player. He played running back. He played linebacker. He was getting recruited by every school in America. Wow. He ended up going to Clemson. But, when they come and see the best player, they also see the other players.
Yeah.
I was one of the other players that they seen.
So it actually kind of helps.
Man, God bless the other players.
Exactly.
We're out here.
When there's a spotlight on your school and there's premier athletes coming out of the school, because the scouts are there, they see you too.
Exactly.
I also like your attitude on that, because I don't think most young people, I would like to think that they would think this, but it's a very positive way to think, to be like, well, if they're coming to look at him, I better show my game too. You never know.
Absolutely.
You never know, because it almost makes you in a weird way root for your friend, which you don't see a lot of, especially online.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people tearing down. Yeah. Again, no online. So
exactly. And we didn't have all of this social media stuff.
You call it distractions.
We didn't have distraction media. I'm going to start calling it that.
I think you can take that and make some money.
Exactly,
with it.
But it was just that. For me, it was all about how can I get to college.
Yeah.
And this was the only way I was going to get to college.
Yeah.
Because mom didn't have money to pay for it.
Yeah, it was so expensive.
But I said to myself early on in life that I wanted to be successful. So my steps to that was graduate high school, go to college, and then get a good job. And the only way I was going to go to college is to outcompete the next man for a scholarship.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of looked at the whole playing field for everybody in Lakeland, Florida. I used to keep up, because I played quarterback.
Yeah.
And I kept up with everybody else's stats just to make sure that I was somewhere near the top. That was my goal, so I would get recruited by somebody so I can go somewhere and go to college.
You got a good college, too.
I went to a really good college. Yes.
I was going to say, Wake Forest, right?
Yes, and I hope I'm representing them well and pronouncing all of my words correctly and using the right tense and everything.
I think you're doing just fine. Now, we're not doing a good job, but you're just fine.
Well, Desmond, and how do you find out, did the recruiters call you, talk to you? There's an interview process for Wake Forest. Were there other schools? Did you choose that one? How did that go?
Yeah, there were quite a few schools. Central Florida was one.
Nice.
And Dante Culpepper. So before I get into that, check this out. Here was the 5 all-state quarterbacks my senior year. Dexter Jackson. You remember him?
Yeah.
Super Bowl MVP.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Dante Culpepper. Peter Warwick. Sean King, that also played quarterback with the Bucs, and myself.
That's insane. The class of talent.
Yeah.
That it was. How rare is that? That seems insanely rare.
All five of us end up making it to the league. Some of us at different positions.
Yeah,
but
crazy.
You talk about that class of quarterbacks coming out of one state.
It's nuts.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
How did you find
and I forgot about your question.
No.
We probably forgot about it too. I'm just sitting there having fun listening to the stories.
No, well, the question being, was it like Wake Forest and other colleges that you choose from?
Yeah, so Central Florida, Virginia Tech, North Carolina State, Wake Forest, and I'm forgetting one other school that I took my visit on. But Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Those were the 5 schools that I took my visit on. And for me, I didn't really like Georgia Tech. I didn't like the guys there. When I went there, it just wasn't my vibe. Virginia Tech, that's where Torian Gray went. Torian Gray is my brother's best friend.
Okay.
So obviously I was drawn there, but I was a quarterback in high school. Virginia Tech, they were running the option. I didn't want to run the option in college because there's no future in that.
So you're looking at schools, you're looking at systems, you're looking at...
I wanted to play receiver.
Okay.
So that's why UCF made sense. Dante Culpepper was going there. But they wanted to recruit me as an athlete. I did not want to play defense at all. So being recruited as an athlete, no, that was out.
What does that mean? Just basically open?
They'll find a place for you when you get there.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I've heard guys balk about that because, again, it's like it's almost like it's good, but it's like like if your dream is receiver and that's what you want to do,
exactly.
I mean, I guess it is a step down in your brain a little bit to do that, but it is still the goal, right? To make it.
It's still the goal.
But there's also business aspect into it because even we're talking about like different time where the money was different. There
was no money.
Yeah.
Not for a 2.5-star athlete like I was.
Yeah. But it's like the looking at position could determine like, all right, I'm going to pick a position that gets paid. Sure. That's the whole problem with running backs now is like these premier athletes like they're looking at the running back position and like, hey, I'll anything else but running back.
Put me a receiver.
Yeah. Tight end like are even better than running backs. Correct. It's like especially now in the NFL. But anyway, so you play for Wake Forest, and when was the realization that you could go further and make it into the NFL? Like, when did that happen?
It was after my junior year. But here's the thing: I dreamed about playing in the NFL. It was never a goal.
Okay,
that was a dream, and it's two different things. A goal is something that you're actually trying to work for, and you laid out a path. But a dream is just like, man, if one day, if I could ever do that, that'd be great. And that's what that was for me. But it was after my junior year. I led the ACC in catches that year. Was second team all. Well, I led ACC in catches for a career when I left Wake Forest. But that junior year, I petitioned the NFL to see what my draft status would be, and that's when they told me if I left my junior year, I could possibly get drafted as high as the 5th round. And then that's when it made it real to me that this is an opportunity.
Sure, yeah.
I can actually play in the NFL.
And how do you find that information out?
This is the part that I don't think anybody's ever told me or I've never heard of, because what you're telling me right now is so crazy to think that...
And that's just someone's opinion, though. That's not even a guarantee.
No, you actually submit paperwork to the NFL.
Do you have somebody guiding you through this process, like a mentor, an older NFL player, or anybody helping you?
No, you have an agent that you haven't yet contracted with.
Ooh.
And then they'll tell you, hey, do this process so you can figure out kind of what the NFL is placing you at that time. And so I knew of an agent, Torian Gray, like I said, is my brother's best friend.
Right.
I actually went with the same agent that he went with, but I called him. He put me in contact with his agent. His agent told me how to go through the process. I went through that process. I wasn't going to leave, but just wanted to go through the process. And I got that letter back, and it had the NFL emblem on it.
What?
And yeah, man, it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that is, man, I'm living it with you. Like, this is neat because you never know. And again, guys, you got to understand, like, you're a kid when you're doing this, too.
Yeah.
Like, like, that's got to blow your mind. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it,
And at that point in time, then...
5th round, man.
So,
Well, hold on. They said 5th round to potential undrafted free agent.
Okay. All right.
So they're like, the top is a 5th. The bottom is
all I saw was 5th round. Okay.
They can't
I saw the NFL logo, 5th round, I moved on.
Yeah. And so then when once you put in the paperwork and there's no going back, or is there? Once you submit that, can you, if you don't get into the NFL, can you go back to Wake Forest? And
this is an unofficial process, right?
Okay.
So I haven't, at this time, I'm not signed with an agent, and I'm not declaring. This is just, you submit this paperwork to see if you were to come out, what your draft stock would be.
Gotcha. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Just to get
and they don't penalize you for going through that process at all?
Right. I think they encourage it. They encourage that process.
Sure.
Because we've seen it a million times, right? People go and they leave early.
Yeah.
Then they don't get drafted, and it's like, oh, bad choice.
Right.
Whoops.
Yeah, because they could have maybe played another year. Their stats could have been better or whatever. Or just that year in particular.
Yeah. Look at your
certain
class.
Teams are looking for certain players.
Sure.
Right.
So there's a lot more, complications that go into it. So
that's why I think I love the fact that you're like, well, I'm gonna do all my research and put out my feelers, get the agent, get my status, see where I'm at, and then I'm gonna make a really well thought.
I was never leaving. Trust me.
Yeah.
I was never leaving. I just wanted to know.
So I'm curious, Desmond, when you're sitting there as a player, like obviously you just want to make it into the NFL, but do you start thinking and start like researching what team could possibly take you, and then start thinking, well, I'd rather go to this team than this team? Like you just start, or do you just
or
sit
just let
there
it
like
roll.
whatever happens?
I didn't think about any of that stuff. And here's because we was talking about the youth of today.
Yeah.
And here's why I think the youth of today kind of get themselves in trouble. Not in trouble. They just put the cart before the horse.
Okay.
I was only focused on being the best player I can be at that time. That in high school, my junior year, how good can I be? And then next year, how good can I be? And then I got to Wake Forest. I wasn't starting, and I was like, okay, the first goal is I want to start. So let me work on being a starter. The next year I was a starter. So now, and if we have time, I'll tell you a funny story about Peter. About Peter Warrick and how he and how he motivated me to be as good as I was in college. But then now my sophomore year I'm starting, and now I'm looking up at everybody else in the ACC. I want to be the best in the ACC. Then I led ACC in catches, right? And now what's after that? Now it's going to the league. And so every year it was just, all right, let me focus on right now. I think a lot of youth, they start to look down the road. Well, if I can go to this college or that college, dude, you're a sophomore. Chill out.
Yeah.
Work your ass off, and then it'll come if you put in the work.
Sure.
You don't even have to worry about that.
Yeah, because a lot of things are beyond your control anyway.
Exactly.
So starting to plan out where you want to go, it's like just focus on being the best you could be.
Yeah.
All that other stuff
It's really just
is
being
beyond
in the
your control.
moment
Yeah.
and controlling what you can control right now at your highest level.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the rest, like you said,
and it all come. It'll all come.
So how'd you find out, like what's the where were you at, and when did you get the call when you got drafted by Denver?
I love these.
Yeah, so I was at home with Mom, and we had about 30 or so people in our apartment. And my agent told me, he said, hey, if it's a good draft, you're going the 4th round. If it's a bad draft, you're going in the 6th round. So there were two, I forget one guy, but there were 2 tight ends. One left early, Rufus French, out of Mississippi State.
All right.
Don't remember that name, do you?
No.
I don't, but it's a great name. Rufus French? That sounds like a villain.
He was like one of the top tight ends, but he left early, talking about leaving early. And my agent told me, hey, once these 2 guys go off the board, then you'll probably be right after them. So it's 4th round. Man. Rufus French is still on the board. I wish I could remember the other guy's name. He actually got drafted. 5th round comes. Rufus French is still on the board. 6th round comes. Rufus French is still on the board.
So you're waiting for him to go so you can go next because that's your agent.
I know that Rufus French is burned into your brain.
Yes. So I'm like, after he goes, then I'm going to go. But now it's middle of the 6th round, and I'm thinking, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Which, by the way, when you have all of your friends and family,
I got many sandwiches. We got Publix chicken tenders here, man.
It was like
we got a spread. We got mini cheese cubes.
Who was it with like Will Levis and his girlfriend were sitting there?
I hated that.
The draft.
I couldn't watch it.
You just have to, when the draft's over, you have to get up and leave.
Couldn't watch
I feel embarrassed.
My wife put that on. I said, turn that off.
And think about when you're that high of a draft pick too, and you got the whole world watching.
It's not fair.
Nobody was watching me, and I was still feeling it.
Yeah.
I bet.
And so, and
what's
then,
Mom doing?
Everybody else is just chilling.
Everybody's chilling.
Yeah, everybody's chilling.
Are you eating at all? Are you nervous? Are you eating? Are you just sitting there?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous because Rufus French is still on the board. So I don't go until after Rufus French goes. And I don't know if it was something against the French. Maybe his name should have been Rufus Spain, and then maybe it'd have went earlier. But I'm sitting there, and now I'm starting to get calls. And I'm getting calls from people saying, if you don't get drafted, we'll love to have you here as a free agent. And now that's like totally demoralizing me. Like, oh man, like I'm not going to get drafted.
Yeah, because you're like, they know better than I. They already know. They already know. Yeah.
So I got like 4 of those calls. Okay. And then I finally got a call from Mike Shanahan, and it's pick 179, I believe. And Mike calls and said, hey, how do you feel? How would you feel about being a Denver Bronco? That was his question. And I would feel great. 2-time world champion.
Yeah.
Denver Broncos. I'm probably not going to make the team, but yes.
Yeah. And what's that like? And by the way, what a weird question, because of course you were not going to be like, well, I don't feel too good about it.
Yeah, I've never been that far west, the mountains and all of that. I'm a southern guy. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't even have to say anything. You're Mike Shanahan, and once you've called me, I already know.
Yes.
I promise you, I'm not kidding when I tell you this. I thought that was all a formality. I didn't think that the coach phone call was like a real deal.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought that behind the scenes, that no, just have his assistant or have somebody call. Like, I never knew it was
a recorded voice.
They pick up the phone and they call you. Yes.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, why? I mean, you could have somebody else do it. So
like those other 4 calls were either from a GM or from a head coach.
Wow, man.
So I kind of want to fast forward a little bit here to because you played in Denver. How long did you play in Denver for?
3 years.
3 years. And then you got injured, correct? And then you went to the Dolphins?
I don't know. Oh, they can't. We do have cameras.
Yeah.
So if you guys see that long scar there, that's where I broke my arm. Woo. Had to put in seven screws in a plate.
Woo.
And they also brought Shannon Sharpe back that year. So once I got injured, Shannon Sharpe is still there.
That bum.
Yeah.
What a bum.
I know. They bring back a has-been to replace an up-and-coming guy. I had 51 catches and 6 touchdowns the year before that. But why would they ever do that?
How'd you break your arm?
Blocking, man. And I had a dumb running back running. No, I'm kidding.
Ooh, take him through his injuries. They love that.
Sorry.
No, but I'm blocking, and the running back, Orlando Gary, who was a friend of mine during those days, he's just running, and he runs right into the back of my arm, and I just feel this sting, and I'm like, oh, man. So they go on X-ray, and I come back out on the field, not knowing what happened. And I can remember the freaking trainer comes over to me, and he was like, does this hurt? And he presses down on it. I'm like, oh, my God, what are you? He was like, because your arm is broke there. And so they took me off the field a couple days later.
You didn't have to do that. He could have just said, I think your arm's broken. I've seen it on the thing.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
I'm going to squeeze him first.
We're talking like 2002?
Actually 2002. It was the camp of 2002.
Wow, different generation. Which is insane to say, but even looking back at what the NFL was back then, we talk about how
I'll tell you how different it was.
Please.
1999, my rookie year, we actually had wedges and wedge busters. So I was in the wedge.
Explain to everybody what that means.
So on the kickoff, you got the kickoff team, you got the kickoff return team. So the kickoff team always had the wedge busters lined up right next to the kicker. Those are the guys that run down the field as fast as they can and bust the wedge. So what is the wedge? The wedge is 3 or 4 big guys, tight ends or offensive linemen, that form a wall. We all holding our hands, and we are leading the way for the kickoff returner to follow us. So wherever we go, we create a wedge. So we're going to bust through anything in front of us and give that kickoff returner a crease to run through.
Okay.
So perfectly placed siren.
Yeah, exactly.
Placed.
So essentially, in people's mind, it's 2 of the best, a group of the best athletes in the world running full speed.
Yes, into each other.
Into each other. Full speed.
Full speed.
Yeah.
And so
the injury creating, the most injury creating event in
this is why they changed so many of the rules, especially during kickoff, because of how dangerous it was.
Right.
I've heard other players talk about how they hated this because it was almost like guaranteed injury.
Hated it. So this is in Jacksonville, actually. And I'm on the end of the wedge. It's 4 people, and we're coming down. And it was a running back. I forget his name. He used to play at Denver, so guys were picking at me because I got knocked out by one of their former teammates.
Oh, no.
And he's coming down full speed, and we're coming at him full speed, and we collide. Boom. And the only thing that I remember was the other tight end, Dwayne Carswell, saying, Dez, just stay down. I woke up on the sidelines to them putting fingers in my face, how many fingers I have. And I guess I answered right. The next,
I guess I answered right.
They're going to push him back on the field.
No.
Yeah.
The next special teams, I was back on the field.
Crazy. Well, back then the trainer's like, it's close enough.
Yeah.
He said a word, and that's
just kind of turn it.
He can still talk.
Put him
he answered the question, right?
Yeah.
Put him in his spot.
Exactly.
Give him some smelling salts. In fact, keep
That's
this
exactly
in your
what they
sock
did.
in case you start getting woozy on the field.
That stuff and blow your mind.
How they took concussions in the late 90s is insane to even think about in 2023.
Absolutely, because I was totally knocked out. And I'm sure they knew, but it was a different time. But yeah, I woke up on the sideline to them waving fingers in my face.
Yeah.
How many fingers? I don't know, like a few.
Well, Desmond,
more than one.
I've joked around in the 90s as a kid while I was watching videos put to music of the hardest hits in the NFL, and it was just people getting knocked unconscious, and it was too shot through the heart.
It was like they
shot to the heart.
And people
to blame, and then it's like some guy getting his helmet rocked off.
You used to be able to someone get knocked out on the field, and the other player would openly mock you. All this is stopped, but it's like the other player would stand, and then
you're out, and he's doing the crying hands like wham, baby.
Your arms are stiff. You're unconscious.
Oh no, they used to call it reaching for the rope, because if you go back and watch when a lot of people got knocked out, like you said, their arm would be up in the air and they'd be stiff.
Yeah.
And that's how they knew that people was knocked out, because they was reaching for the rope.
They had a joke term for
not be laughing.
Neurological damage.
And it just comes down slowly. They were reaching for the rope.
Your brain is
rope. Take me home.
It's firing wrong, and it's stiffening your muscles. So and the people were laughing. No one understood back how dangerous it was.
Could you feel a change in it at all when you were playing at all? People taking it more seriously? Did that start?
Well,
you kind of played through it.
I came right at the beginning of kind of that movement of taking care of players with concussions. I think Concussion, the movie, actually came out the year after, or 2 years after I retired.
Gotcha.
So I came right on the beginning of, hey, let's take better care of our players.
Right.
And earlier you said we didn't know anything about it. I think they knew about it.
Really?
But it was just one of those things that, hey, we just keep it to ourselves, no harm, no foul. But then when it was exposed, now they had to do something about it.
Yeah, the public. Yeah. I mean, I think everybody's well aware that the NFL
can't put it back in the tube, man. It's out. We know it.
They only address something when it's brought to the attention of the public.
Or there's video.
Right. Deny until there's video.
Until there's video.
Yeah, when it's better for business, then they have to actually do something. But
I mean, you can't fault them. I'm certainly glad that they're taking care of the players. You saw the same thing happen in wrestling, where they're taking care of the wrestlers. It's like athletes. You take care of our athletes.
Desmond, I'm curious to even you almost have to even look at stats and records differently pre and post rule change, especially with quarterbacks.
Passing, yeah.
Because what quarterbacks used to have to go through, and then you look at the older quarterbacks in the 90s and stuff, and what they achieved in a league where you could hit them as hard as you want, drive their shoulders to the ground.
You can break them.
Every quarterback in the 90s had separated shoulders, with the bump and everything, because they just get driven into the ground, and they would want to hurt the other quarterback. What they achieved during that time is different than what you can achieve now based on the rules.
And an older quarterback back then was 32. That's a quarterback in his prime now.
Yeah, because you couldn't last. And even with playing the tight end position with the defenseless receiver hits, that coming over the middle back even when you played, used to like a quarterback throwing over the middle.
Most of those were in your video, by the way, because I know the video you're talking about.
Yeah.
Come across the middle.
And the
kabam.
The linebacker would just spear you at first, where you're looking to try to catch the ball.
So once I got done playing, I started thinking about that. And it's crazy to think about, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to be semi-crazy to go across the middle of a field and focus on a ball to catch that ball, knowing that you got grown-ass men coming and trying to literally decapitate you. They're trying to knock your head off.
Yeah.
And you get
a bonus from your coach.
but think about you have to focus so intensely
to
make that play. And to be able to do that, that's one of the reasons why I truly believe I can do anything. Because to be able to have that focus and that type of danger, like, that's some otherworldly type stuff.
That I've thought about it too. That has to be one of the most dangerous plays an athlete could make at that time period of any other sport. Because there's no play as dangerous as going over the middle as a tight end wide receiver and trying to catch a ball while the DB
and he's there,
linebacker
right?
is
and you do it with no fear.
Yeah.
You do it with no.
You can't
think about it.
You don't even think
drop
about
the ball and you'll still get hit.
And you'll still get hit.
Yeah. It's crazy that and you're right. To be able to mentally get through that, you could face anything in life.
Right.
Do you know how you got there?
It's brainwashing.
Yeah.
It's literally brainwashing in a good way because
so it becomes involuntary for you.
Right?
Yeah. So from the age of 6, you've been coached. This is what you have to do, right? And over the course of time, when you first start, you go out there and you're like, I don't know.
Right.
Somebody's hitting me as a kid. Somebody's coming to hit me. I'm going to be a little scared.
Right.
But over time, you get conditioned, like you said, to this is just what it is. This is just what you have to do. And you just do it without even thinking about it.
And
awesome.
Would you train catching the ball and tucking it as fast as possible because the helmet's going to come and they direct the helmet to where you catch the ball to try to knock it loose.
Out.
So it's also one of the hardest catches that they can't be replicated now because of the rules. But you're catching the football, but also you have to maintain possession simultaneously while you're getting hit by one of the biggest dudes in professional sports.
Also running full speed.
Yeah, helmet into the ball you're holding too. Yeah. How do you even practice?
So that part the helmet into the upper body never scared me. It was the helmet cutting my legs.
Okay,
that always scared me.
Because then you fall onto your head.
Because you get your knee blown out, or something like that. Because you can't see where they're coming from. And I was more scared of the getting my knee blown out or something like that than somebody hitting me up high.
Is that why you see some players almost hop up and get off their feet while they're catching the ball? So because if you have your feet on the ground and someone's hitting you low in your legs, it could definitely blow your ACLs out.
Yeah. I don't know. But I know people, they will protect their legs at all costs.
Yeah.
Right. You come back from a concussion most of the time.
Yeah.
But if you blow the ACL out,
the season ending,
right?
Or
career ending, possibly.
It could be career ending if you do more damage to just the ACL.
So, Desmond, I want to talk about going to the Super Bowl because you had a crazy, unique experience of getting to go with the Bears, and I remember watching that Super Bowl when they ran the kickoff back.
Devin Hester.
Devin Hester ran the opening kickoff of the Super Bowl back. And I remember I was betting on Chicago, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's happening!"
You and every other Chicago Bear fan.
And so, let's talk about going to the Super Bowl and what that entails and how big that is.
So, at the beginning of that year, I felt like we had something special going on.
Yeah.
Last year, we got knocked out of the playoffs, not in the wild card, but divisional round by Carolina that year. Carolina went on to lose the Super Bowl. Coming back that next year, and I got to go and find all this video that I was taking because I just knew. I think we all kind of knew that we had a really, really good team. And as the year started, those first 6 games, I mean, we were just blowing teams out. You don't beat teams like this in the NFL. I think we beat Buffalo 48-10 or something like that. Yeah. And the tight ends
score.
Yeah, we're sitting on the bench it don't supposed to be this easy.
Yeah.
But then we started getting good wrecks, bad wrecks, and it wasn't that easy. But you guys remember the Arizona game when we didn't score offensive touchdown, and that was the game. They are who we thought they were. Dennis Green. Yeah. We didn't score offensive touchdown and won that game, I think, 24-23. Rex threw 4 interceptions. When we won that game, we absolutely knew that we had something special going. And we just went along that year. And once we got to the Super Bowl, I'm playing in my home state, so it was special.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it when they introduced representing the NFC champions Chicago Bears, and we all run out on that field, and you have all of the cameras and all the lights, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, like I'm really here playing in the Super Bowl, and the whole world is watching. Like I just had to sit and think about that, and I'm the type of person like I'm really calm, so most games I just go into it, and you know it's not a big deal. It's just a game. I practice. I'm ready for it. Here we go. But for the Super Bowl, I got on the sideline and I had to calm myself down and tell myself, man, this is just a game. Play it just like any other game. And I was literally talking to myself because the magnitude, I'm still getting like chills.
That's insane.
We're giving me chills. Like it's funny
from the kid in Lakeland High
Not
School.
Not supposed to be there, right?
It wasn't Lakeland High School. Never say that. That's like calling my mom the wrong word.
Oh my God.
Kathleen High School. That's our rival over there.
I'm in a high school in Lakeland, and then now you're playing the Super Bowl in Miami.
Nuts.
Just to think about, man, like this was a dream beyond all dreams, and some people have that dream, and playing the NFL never even get there.
Never ever get there.
And then so even the likelihood of getting the Super Bowl is rare, and then how insanely rare it is, just to make it there is crazy to even think about, and crazy that you have to put it out of your head during the event because you're like, I need to focus on this game.
Yeah, for sure.
It's nuts. I'm curious, Desmond, with and you fast forward a little and you retire from the NFL, and this is a question, because your NFL career for most players is what the average is like
3 to 4 years.
3 or 4 years at the most, and sometimes it's less. And so you have to think of what am I going to do after. Now, while you're playing, I imagine that you're only focusing on playing.
Yes.
But did you have a plan in the back
Not
of your
at
head?
all.
No. Okay. So
not at all.
Tell me about retiring and the decision to retire and all that.
Well, it wasn't my decision.
Okay.
You know how that goes. So I got hurt my last year, third preseason game. They ended up letting me go. I had a great camp, and I was surprised that they let me go. But I stayed in shape, and the 10th week when I was eligible to come back to the Chicago Bears, the third tight end got hurt on the field. It's like, perfect. I'm here. I'm in shape. I called them and say, hey, I'm still around. Would love to come back to the team. They said they were going to call me the next day. They would talk about it in their meetings. They called me the next day and say, hey, we're going to reserve this spot for a younger tight end so we could develop that tight end. Hung up the phone. I was like, well, I guess that's it for me. And that's how it happened.
And there was no more, did you think, hey, I'm going to try to,
nope. It happened.
Okay.
It happened just like that.
Okay.
When the team that knows me best, they know my heart, they know my character, they know everything.
You have a relationship with them, yeah.
Yeah, and they say, hey, we're going to go a different direction. I didn't want to be one of those guys that's flying all around America doing tryouts and all of that other stuff. Like, there's more to me than football.
Sure.
And I played 12 years. And literally,
that's a hell of a run.
Yeah, really.
That is. And I actually played 13 because I played 12, but I got credit for 13. They gave me credit for that last year because I was injured when they released me.
Nice.
But yeah, when I hung up the phone, it was literally like a switch. It's like, it's over. It's over.
Did you get emotional about it at all?
Not at that time. Not at that time.
It has to sink in, or
I didn't tell you the truth. I didn't really get emotional about it till maybe a year or so later, when I'm still trying to figure out what in the hell I want to do with myself.
Right.
Yeah, and I literally wrote and I used to write in journals all the time, still do. And
I just started doing that, man. It's worthwhile.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah,
you're a very in the moment kind of guy.
I try to stay now. I try to stay in the moment.
That's good, man. I'm trying to get better at that. I'm not good at it, and it's hard.
Before I came here, the reason why I was six minutes late is because I was talking to my guys, Corey being one of those guys also, about being in the moment and pressing the moment for everything that it's worth, and giving 100% in the moment for what you say that's important to you.
Sure.
Because people go around, oh man, this is important, that is important, but are your actions really saying the same thing?
Right.
And that's what I was challenging my guys with today, because what was my podcast yesterday? Expectations can't exceed effort.
Oh,
and that's what I was challenged. That's what I was challenging them on. I was like, all right, we got these expectations, but is your effort really saying that this is what I want to accomplish?
Right. Do they match?
Yeah,
they're not. You're saying they're important, but you're not proving to me they're important. Yeah, no,
right.
I'm picking up everything you're setting down, man. I am really trying to be that way with my daughter, with my wife, with this business. Like when I'm on here,
stop right there. Stop right there. I said, I was like, I'm not perfect, but I said, y'all tell me if I'm not living up to everything that I say I'm living up to. I say the three most important things to me is to be a good husband, good father, and to build this $100 million business that we said we're going to build.
Yeah.
And I say, you look at my schedule last week. I'm up before 5 o'clock every day. I'm in here 5:30 in the morning. I'm here into 3 o'clock, 3:30. And then I go home. I literally lay down for 30 minutes, and sometimes I even fall asleep in that time. Then I'm up. Then it's time for my son to start getting ready for football practice. You know, I spend a little time at home. I coach his football team.
Nice.
Then we don't get home, and I tell the coaches, I was like, hey, sometimes I'm going to be a little late because I got extra work to catch up on. So I sit in the car for 30 minutes, I catch up on the work, and then I go out and I start coaching. We don't get home until 8:30. And now I just can't go to sleep on my wife. She wants some time too.
Right.
So, and I'm dead tired. But now I may not go to sleep 10:30, and I'm right back up at 4 o'clock, 4:30 the next morning, or maybe 2:30, or maybe 3 o'clock if I got work that I know I got to do that I can't get. Needed. Whatever it takes, right?
Yeah.
But I told them my focus is my focus, and I was like, you remember when my son was in school? When I left this job, what did I tell y'all every day I was leaving to go home to do? There's like, do homework with your son. Yes, because the top 3 things are my top 3 things. And everything that I do, every decision that I make, every action that I take is revolving around those 3 things. And I give 100% to that. And that's what I was telling them today. Like, hey, if I keep coming here every day and saying I want to build a $100 million business, and y'all see me here 2 hours, and I was like, most of the time, y'all don't even see me in the office. I'm in the booth. I was like, have y'all ever asked why I go to the booth all the time? No, you don't ask. I'm going to tell you. Because I want to be hyper-focused, and I don't want any distractions. And I say, y'all see me come back in here for five minutes, check on y'all, make sure y'all got everything, and I'm right back in the booth. But that's how I try to live, like, because I'm trying to max this thing out, right? I'm 46.
You're making me feel lazy.
God, Desmond, he's going to yell at me to get to work on my lunch break.
No. All I hear is, man, Desmond is working hard.
Yeah, and he spends time with his wife.
This is why he made it to the NFL.
So like
good
last week I didn't have time with my wife because my son had football practice, literally every day, from Tuesday to Saturday. I knew my wife wanted time. Mm-hmm. So on Sunday, we went to church. I was like, all right, we're going to drive to Tampa, spend all day in Tampa. We went to dinner in Tampa.
Nice.
And I did that strategically because on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm over in Tampa at my office. So I was like, if we drive to Tampa,
I love it.
I take her out in Tampa. We take her out in Tampa, and then now I get to sleep for an extra hour and a half.
Smart. Work smarter.
Before I have to go to work.
You're the ultimate grinder. That's a different mentality. This mentality is what got him into the NFL.
If you'd have been a football player, we'd be in a much better business.
Well, he was Arena. Don't forget.
Last question.
No, we don't have time to talk about that.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Anyway,
that was a passing comment.
Desmond, last question. How'd you get into this business, the Bear Down Logistics?
On accidents.
Okay.
On accident, not accidents.
Yeah.
It wasn't more than one. So the years prior to me being in this business, I was doing full-time speaking and coaching.
Okay.
Right, leadership coaching. And through that, did a lot of marketing, came in contact with this guy who owned his own logistics business. He wanted to do some cross-promotions. We had some discussions, and then he actually offered me a position with his business. That's when I started to learn more about this business.
Yeah.
And understand it. And once I got a chance to understand it, I was like, this is a unique type of business. I mean, logistics is not going anywhere. people are always going to need their food, their products, whatever it is.
Yeah, businesses need to move things. There's no way around it.
Yeah, they got to ship stuff from point A to point B. And I got more curious about it. And long story short, he has a business that has a niche in drayage. And I say, how much opportunity are you leaving out here by not doing flatbed and dry van and all these other things? And he said, about $200,000 to $300,000 a month. I'm like, what? And you're not capitalizing on that? Yeah. Basically, that's what I said. Yeah. I don't want to work with you. I'm gonna create my own business, and then maybe we can partner together. Where now we can toss each other opportunities across the fence.
Yeah.
And that's how it all started.
That's awesome.
And I'm sure you're like, well, I know how to work. And then I've seen a lot of that with like someone who's got the grinder mentality and can work hard and focus, and they see an opportunity in a market that is like, oh, this is full of people that may not have the same mentality I got. It's, and then your business flourishes because
it started that way, right? It started that way of me just grinding by myself. And then towards the end of the year, we're doing really well. And I'm not knowing that I'm supposed to be sinking at this time because the industry is tanking. But I'm not looking at anything. I'm just grinding. And when I looked up, when I came up for air, I kind of realized, all right, I'm doing well. Everybody else is sinking. Over 100,000 logistics companies in 2022 went under.
Wow.
And I'm still here. And I kind of refocused the organization around people like Corey.
Yeah.
And I said, because you remember when I told you I was doing all this writing when I left the NFL? One of the things that I wanted to do was help other people be successful. That's why I went into speaking and coaching.
Sure.
So now I got this vehicle of logistics, and I said, well, how about I build this company by helping people like Corey Davis become successful? And if I can help logistics agents like Corey be successful, reach their goals, then I'll reach my goal also. So that's how we build this company now. Like, my job is leadership. My job is to make sure Corey got everything that he needs. He has all the support on the back end. That's my team. I build all the support on the back end for him to, once he bring in opportunity, we make sure that we pick it up. We make sure that we deliver it. We communicate everything. We get all the paperwork for him, and we bill it and invoice it. And every week, Corey says, hey, Desmond, I had 25 loads. I made $5,000 this week. Cut me my 50%. And if I can do that for 25 different Coreys, then I hit my goal.
Well, that's what T&D Media needs.
Yeah,
we need a leader like Desmond.
I know, we really do.
He knows how to do it. No one wants to follow me.
I think he'd look great in a black T&D polo, wouldn't he? He would look awesome.
So, it's funny. People ask me, and I've started to change this. Oh, so you do logistics. And now I'm very transparent with it. Me personally, yes, I have a logistics company, but I have people that do logistics very well. My job is leadership. My job is to put these people in position to win and give them all the resources.
You know your strengths. Yeah, I like that, man.
Well, Desmond, thanks so much for coming.
Hey, thanks for firing us up naturally.
Yeah,
I mean, you weren't even coming to motivate us, but you did. So we appreciate you, man. Thank you for doing that.
Some people say that's just what I do.
I love it. It does. Yeah, it's good. It's good, man. And thanks again for giving us the time.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it.
Again, it's beardown-logistics.com. Bear, B-E-A-R, down-logistics.com. Desmond, thanks so much. Give Corey Davis a call if you need anything, and we will see you in a minute. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Is that a new cup? That's a cool.
It is a new cup.
That is a see. This I
had to get one because the paint was coming off the other one.
I noticed things. I noticed things. You gotta do this every morning when you wake up. This is gonna help you with your wife. When you wake up, put an intent in your brain. I'm going to notice something today. I'm going to notice one thing every single day.
You got to put in work, but you're wasting your noticing powers. So Sam doesn't care.
But I notice all of them. I know she doesn't care.
So use it for someone who cares.
Okay, correct.
You're wasting
correct.
it.
You don't have to yell at me. Okay, you're right. You're right.
What is this like?
You're right. It was like any of my neighbors shooting into the sky on New Year's. Waste.
like Sam doesn't care if we notice her new cup
I don't know
or her hair or whatever.
Like, I mean, it's better than if she walked in here and we're like, oh, you again, Well,
you don't have to be a D-head. Just say nothing. That's what she likes.
Okay, all right.
She knows.
I don't know her love language. I'm sorry.
That's why, me and Sam don't compliment each other or say any niceties to each other.
She does compliment you sometimes. She does.
No.
Yes, she has. She has.
I usually am razzing him about something.
Yeah, you have complimented him before. More than you've complimented her. You've never complimented her.
She's never complimented me.
He'll think I'm seducing him if I do.
Well,
I don't know what I did by opening this. I'm sorry.
It'd be awkward if she ever complimented me. And then, yes, I would. I would be like, oh, my God. I would think, I was like, am I on a hidden camera show?
You're on Candid Camera.
Let's plug something. What do we got going on that our listeners can benefit from? Because that's basically why we do the show.
Orlando Science Center, of course, their dog exhibit.
Oh my God! I thought you were going to say Dog the Bounty Hunter. I freaked out for a second because did you guys know that Dog the Bounty Hunter is having a festival and you can go to it?
What kind of festival?
I want to go. I'm trying to get Andrea to go. Finish your plug and we'll come back to the Dog the Bounty Hunter festival.
And then Engineering Week is going on August 19th and 20th. They also have another Science Night Live. That's their adult only night that you can go and have some adult beverages, walk around the Science Center.
A little date night.
And they have really good guest speakers and stuff. That's August 26th. So that's all going on at the Orlando Science Center.
Yeah.
Most importantly, AC. They have AC, and you can take your kids there and enjoy AC.
You can dress up. Because there's AC, here's something crazy I figured out. Because there's AC there, you can wear pants and your favorite high-top sneakers. You can.
Yeah. Well, you still got to get from the parking garage.
Go fast. You just go fast.
If you walk fast enough.
Yeah, if you walk fast enough, as soon as you get the tunnel, it'll start to cool down, and you will have a great, great time.
All right, let's do some weird job.
All right, now, you said that you told me weeks ago you wanted to go back through some of the classic Weird Job songs because I have to really be inspired to do them. But I was inspired to replay one of the original ones. I think this was the third one that I ever did. This one kind of set off me doing different Weird Job songs all the time. This guy has a new album out that he just put out last week called Austin. He just rolled through Tampa. I saw Mike Busey hanging with him. I saw Ric Flair hanging with him. None other than Mr. Post Malone.
Posty.
Was Busey hanging out with Post Malone?
Oh my God, they were hugging and kissing each other, and Busey's known him for forever, dude.
Yeah.
Since he probably 15, 20 years ago.
I really wanted to do a bit. They really like the Thompson bull.
Sorry.
What are you doing for your day job? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Tom really wanted to do a bit. They really like the Thompson bull.
I forgot this too.
Oh, you're bad at your timing.
I really am.
Whoa. Do you make lots of money? Sitting up in your tower, looking down on all the people who are working by the hour. Really wanted to.
I think we can fade it down now. I don't want to give her more work to do, but hey,
that was a good one.
Yeah, that was a classic.
Post Malone's a weird dude, right?
I
love him.
I like him too.
No, he seems like a nice,
sweet man.
Yeah,
but he's weird.
I
right?
think I love him or like him too.
Just from the small TikTok clip interactions I see, especially the one he uses as a meme.
He's harmless.
No, I'm saying he's nice.
I like that. I like that he is just harmless. He's not out to hurt anybody, and
it seems like he's always. I don't know.
Seems like he's always drunk.
Not
anymore. He stopped drinking.
Yeah, he did stop. But
or some sort of he's so super high or something, right?
Yeah, he does seem.
Yeah, he likes to get high, smoke cigarettes, and hang out with his friends.
He's a mellow dude.
I like the fact that he still smokes cigarettes.
Yeah.
It's a rare thing.
I like
nowadays.
the fact that he's standing on a stage that was designed by designers that wear suits that spent billions of dollars designing it, and he's jumping around in jean shorts with his balls hanging out. That's awesome.
We have a BDM that does the sound for him.
Yeah,
or he has done the sound.
We
for
should
him.
all.
Did you see his stage? It's like, and then he's on there a
really
tank top,
nice
jean shorts. Yeah, I've never heard a bad thing about him.
We should all start smoking cigarettes.
Okay,
I've been thinking about it. I've been watching a lot of movies and TV shows where they're like chain smoking, and I'm like, I kind of want one.
Let's smoke while we do the podcast.
Friday smoke sessions.
The only thing that I was waiting for you to say to do that was what you just said. I am ready to do it.
Like, because it would be...
nothing matters anymore.
I told Andrew I'm
no
ready
other
for
podcast smoke while doing the whole show.
Maybe our guest Valentino would. Okay. Valentino, do you think that we should smoke cigarettes on the show?
Just don't throw them out your window, right?
I mean, it is pretty cool. Yeah, don't throw them out your window.
Yeah, this is Valentino.
Although that doesn't actually do anything anymore.
What was the name I came up with?
Just make it easy.
Valentino Spaghetti.
Yeah.
Joe.
Valentino.
Joe.
This is Joe.
No, you don't have to give him some complicated...
Smoking Joe.
Fine. This is Joe. We give him some... I like giving him a creative name.
So, Valentino, what's your weird job?
I am a wildland firefighter.
Wildland firefighter.
So wait, you're the guy that's out there in the woods finding the scuba divers that are dropped from the cranes.
Yes.
So, is it called a wildman firefighter?
Wildland.
Oh, Wildland.
Oh, sorry, I got the same mumble mouth. Wildland.
Okay.
We were hoping that. Yeah.
I was like, that's weird.
Yeah. What are you? I'm a wildman.
So, how do you even get this job? Do you start as a normal firefighter and then
look for trees?
Yeah, I actually was structured before, but actually in Florida we take kids right out of high school and train them. But one of my good friends started down here and told me about it, and it sounded amazing. So I came down to Florida from Virginia and started.
So is this now, do you work as a regular firefighter and then just do this when there's forest fires when it's needed, or is it year-round?
No, Florida's pretty much year-round, so I'm strictly wildland. I don't enter houses anymore unless it's like some crazy emergency.
Is that kind of like when you've made it? Is that like when you get to detective and you don't have to write like a traffic ticket or something where you're like, I've made it, I'm out there.
Actually, I still have to write tickets, but no, it's definitely a lot of people use it for a stepping stone here in Florida because we train you most of the way, and then they usually jump over to structure because they pay a lot better.
Yeah, I was about to say. Also, it seems like wildland firefighters, like they do
it for the love.
Well, it's harder.
For the love of the trees.
Like, listen, firefighters are heroes. Let me say, they're all heroes.
Wait a minute.
Everybody's a hero.
A couple of years ago, you were okay.
But all I see them do is play pickleball in front of the fire.
Not the wildland. Not the wildland. The wildland. They're out there smoking weed in the trees.
No, you're going to dig ditches. I also like that wildland firefighters get to start fires. Which
controlled fires.
Yeah, that's the best firefighters, the one that can control the fire.
Well, I think most of their job is actually starting forest fires to fight other forest fires. So let's go into that.
Which has got to be a rush.
So what's your day-to-day?
You think people that are arsonists try and get this job because they get to start fires for
their job? That's a Dexter.
Well,
like a Dexter firefighter scenario?
Yeah, but the arsonists, they want to do it illegally. Yeah. Watch the world burn.
They also want to see a couple people go up, like Luke's parents or grandparents or what were they?
So
uncle, aunt and uncle.
We'll start with the basics of the job. What's different?
Well, basically, we don't get the awesome 24 on, 48 off. So
no Kelly days?
We work with humidity and weather, so pretty much sunlight is when we're working. Unless it's really bad, then we stay. But I work 8 in the morning. I get off at 5 unless there's fires. So I'm home every night, which is nice.
Now, do you have a normal station, and do you dress the same? Or I would imagine you throw a little more green into what you wear, right?
I do, yeah. So green pants and shorts. Our fire gear, our Nomex is real thin because we're walking around in the woods all day. If I had to have that huge bunker gear, I'd pass out in 10 minutes. So our gear's a lot thinner. But we're not getting as intense heat as you would crawling around in a house, searching room by room.
Is there a derogatory term that you call structure firefighters and vice versa for you as a forest firefighter?
Yeah, give us the lingo.
No, we're all pretty friendly. And they
like
actually
struck holes or something? Like, he's a struck hole.
Well, it's like a local county sheriff and then a highway patrol,
right?
Like the state police, they don't get along.
Exactly, and actually, that's a very fair comparison because we're state also. So
he knows it's a fair comparison. He told me this morning he's a genius.
So let's talk about first, how many fires, like forest fires, are in Florida throughout the year?
Oh, tons, and that's the thing. You know, news doesn't really cover it that much. But just in our district, which is somewhere in Florida, you know, we had over 400 fires last year. There is a season, obviously the wet season, there's not that many. But, you know, during our 6-month season, you know, I'll run 4 or 5 fires a day, anywhere from 1 acre to 10,000.
So what is the season?
So pretty much, you know, whenever it's not raining. So it'll start up, you know, October when it starts getting a little crispy out. We'll start getting drier, and then it'll run all the way up to, you know, June. You know, whenever the summer rains start, and then when those rains start, they'll actually send us out west. So I'm actually deployed to Texas right now, or somewhere out west, fighting fire right now because we got a lot of rain down south.
What's the number one cause of forest fires in Florida? Is it lightning, like most other forests?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I teach the kids. I take Smokey Bears to the schools, and that's the number one question. So usually it's lightning, depending on where we're at, and the second one is either kids or ATVs. But yeah, lightning is usually the biggest cause.
Those are Tom's 2 favorite things.
With the ATVs, is it because like their exhaust shoots sparks, or that their engine heat causes like a brush fire?
Brush pile.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, both of those. You know, they'll just, and they don't do it on purpose, but they'll pull up in tall grass and, you know, eat a sandwich or whatever, and then, you know, kind of lights
Nothing
on fire
like sitting on your four-wheeler with the engine running, wolfing down I usually get I think it's the Gargantuan from Jimmy John.
So,
Gargantuan?
I forgot your name.
Valentino.
I know your real name, and I want to call you.
Valentino Righetti.
So let's talk about like when you get the alarm that there's a forest fire. What's the first? Because
and it's a hoot owl. It's not a. It's like a. That's how he knows.
When it's a structure fire, obviously, you know, there's bigger structures than others, but for the most part, you're like, all right, I know how big the fire is. But with the forest fire,
unpredictable monster.
Do you fly a drone to get an aerial view of it?
No, the air from the drone will make more fire.
How do you know how big it is?
So mostly, it depends on who finds it. If we get a smoke complaint, we're one tractor response. So almost unless it's a real bad fire season, we know it's going to be bad no matter what. There's one truck with one bulldozer and one guy that goes investigates. And
cool.
I'll go out there and, you know, see what it is. I'll get a size up. I'll, you know, put a ring around it. And if I need more help, I call more help. But most of the fires we run is just one person.
I love the idea of driving out there on your bulldozer, and you get out there and you're looking at it, and it's a lot bigger than you thought. And you're like, oh,
yep,
my God. And you turn around.
Also, a slow way to get to a fire. Like, you know,
no,
normally,
these are speed bulldozers.
Yeah, you get on your bulldozer.
Now, bullet dozer.
In the season, we'll have fixed-wing airplanes that will do searches. They'll go up, you know, at 11 o'clock in the morning and fly around the district and look for smokes. You know, when it gets into good fire season.
That's cool, man.
So, now, forest fire, you know, in nature is a way for the forest to rejuvenate itself. Like, it's a natural thing that happens
it
where...
trims itself back, right?
Well, also, like, you know, old, you know, growth that has fallen over or whatever, it kind of, like, it burns it all and then it gives nutrients to the soil.
Sure.
Because when you have, like, add that...
the ash?
The burned carbon or whatever is good for the soil. So,
yeah, the nitrogen goes back in and all that. Yeah. But yeah, Florida has to burn. I mean, before we were here, you know, you get a fire in Tampa and it burned to Miami, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, our
goddamn way it's supposed to be.
Don't drop unless fire hits them. You know, so there's tons of stuff. We need fire for our ecology, but you know, houses get in the way, and we stop doing it, and then you get wildfires that we can't control.
So is part of your job also burning, like controlled burn forests so that it doesn't happen by accident?
Yes. So we have, you know, our state forest will have burn programs. We'll burn sections each year. And then also out in the communities where these overgrown, you know, lots next to houses that, like you were saying, are so grown with leaves and old dead shrubs. That's food. I mean, it's all food, so it's too much food. So when lightning hits it, I can't get there in time. So we'll drive around, we'll see something like that, we'll burn it and get all that extra food out of the way. It won't kill the trees, but that way, something hits it, it won't get that big, and I can get there in time.
Do you get to walk like a line with one of those pots that makes the the fire on the ground? I've always as a kid.
What is that?
I saw that in middle school, I think, or elementary school.
It's like you're dripping the fire onto the ground.
Yeah, it's like it's the closest.
It's a drip torch.
I think
it's called a drip torch.
It's the closest you can come to being Mother Earth or destroying Mother Earth. You're standing on top of her with a device that is helping her, and by burn, it's crazy cool. Yeah. As a kid, I'd look at it and be like, I want to be that guy.
Also, it seems dangerous because it seems like that fire could blow the whatever you're holding up,
the dripping pot,
blow you in half. So how does it work?
No, I mean, hopefully they're designed good enough not to do that. I've had one pretty much on fire all over, and it didn't go up. So, but
what's in it?
That's our drip torch. But we also have awesome ping pong machines. They're pretty sweet.
So you guys are never working. You're always playing the goddamn ping pong.
Hold on, what's a ping pong machine?
Oh, it's like a PLDO. So we either use it on an ATV or a helicopter, but it's literally a ping pong filled with magnesium and something else, and it ejects glycol in it. So it gives it like 30 seconds, and it'll blow up. Burst into flames.
Well, how do we get one of these for the studio?
I mean, I don't know if there's any laws of buying them or not, but they're pretty sweet.
Well, if you don't know of any, then there aren't any.
And what do you shoot it into the forest?
Yeah, they'll go on the side of the helicopter, and we'll go up there, and we'll just set a timer. So every 2 seconds, it'll drop a ball.
What?
And so we'll just fly a square around whatever we're burning.
It's like the fire version of Twister with those little ping pong balls.
Yeah, so if something's like too thick or it's too swampy for us to walk with that drip torch, we can do the same thing with those ping pongs.
Okay.
That's badass.
So
flaming ping pong balls.
We've all heard the stories of, and this is, I believe, out west. The gigantic forest fires in the mountains, and firefighters getting stuck, basically in the middle of one and having to
dig a hole.
Well, they dig a hole, but they also have some sort of shields that they could put over themselves to let the fire go over them.
Yeah, our fire shelters. They only last for about 30, 45 seconds, but yeah, we all carry them. It's literally a tinfoil sleeping bag. You look like a baked potato.
30 or 45 seconds? That's just enough time for me to finish crying.
Pretty much. It's scary. I've pulled it out twice. Luckily, didn't hit me. So it's basically, if you're running away, you get to wherever you can that's not fuel. So don't lay on grass, obviously. Gotcha. So either scratch out sand, get on a rock, whatever you can do, get down low. And you're supposed to dig a little hole where your mouth is, put your bandana in your mouth so you don't breathe in the super hot gas, and then hopefully it just goes over you quick.
Now, we've seen the stories of the firefighters that have passed away because of these, how dangerous it is.
Super dangerous.
But does it happen in Florida? Because it seems like it may be out west because you're in mountainous terrain and the winds are higher. Yeah. The fires
more gusts
go faster.
It's definitely more common out west. Faster can kind of happen anywhere depending on winds and fuel load, but. No, in Florida we've had I think 7 that happened to. The last was in 2011. We had 2 guys go of a burnover. It's super dangerous. And like I said, Florida, our fuels they all have oil in them, like Melaleucas and type. Everything has so much oil in them. So I've been in the middle of a named tropical storm fighting a 40-foot wall of fire.
Wow.
The rain
this guy's a real man.
Just go.
Are you getting pelted with rain and you can feel the heat?
Yes, it's a weird feeling.
That's crazy. How do you keep visibility in something like that?
It's real hard. Actually, I don't want to say that. It'll give away who I am.
Yeah, don't give away, Valentino.
You can wear special glasses and all that, but you just got to keep your eye on the prize. We put one track in the black and one track on the green, so we ride the edge of the fire. So
we need a cool phrase like that for podcasting, like one hand on the mic, the other on my junk.
Do you guys
or something? I don't know.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
You know, I just tried to put my hands into an invisible hoodie that I'm not wearing. I'm not having a good... I'm having a bad old man week. I'm having an old man week.
Well, you're not...
I'm recovering from
back
vacation.
From vacation.
I'm not. But it's Wednesday. I mean, I should be back from vacation, right? Why does it take 3 full days to, get the wagon moving again?
Well, because, as you slow down towards death, everything stops working.
Yeah, I can feel it. Definitely can feel
it. Your brain, your body, although...
My brain. My body. I need to use the potty.
Some people faster than others.
Yeah, true.
Not everybody's the same.
I'm the fastest. They call me the sprinter, sprinting to death. What do we got to plug? What's on the agenda today?
Orlando Science Center, August 19th and 20th. They have Engineering Week, if you want to check that out. They also have Science Night Live, the all-adult night. You can go to the Science Center and hang out and drink some adult beverages.
Yeah, buddy.
That's August 26th. And of course, dog exhibition.
The Bounty Hunter.
The dog exhibition.
Yeah.
The Science of Dogs is still going on till September. So
it's
you can still check that out.
It is a really, really good, installation there with these massive dogs. Perfect for taking photos. Lots of science involved.
Listen, it's indoors. Take your kids there and enjoy the air conditioning.
Yeah, it's got air conditioning.
You sit there. The kids will have a great day. They will not be able to do all the things they have. Every single time I go to the Science Center, the kids only do 1/3 of
you
the
can't get through it all. Here's what I say. At its worst, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
All right, let's do some emails.
Yeah, we have really been neglecting the email, and apparently all of you guys have done some, schooling over the vacation because, man, are people writing. And I thought we had moved past writing. We're done with that, right? Isn't everything voice to text? Now everything's voice to text.
With the younger generation, I feel like our listeners still...
some people don't like to hear their voices. Some people get nervous when they leave a voicemail. So
okay, all right, here we go.
And I think when you write an email, you actually sit and think about what you're writing, right? And then you can review it before you post it.
Most emails we get are more kind than the voicemails because, I do think you give it a beat. There is it's a little less reactionary than a voicemail.
Yeah.
All right, first email. Here we go.
Am I the a-hole? Parking in the shade. What's up? Did that ever go away, or did what's up follow us like a string of toilet paper for the last nearly 25 years?
I think it went away.
I digress.
Well, it's a certain generation that's stuck in their head.
Right.
Yeah. You go out on Lake Conway, and the drunk guys on the boats, they're screaming, what's up, to each other across the lake.
Those Bud Light frogs.
My dad
they don't do Bud Light anymore.
Yeah, my dad did not like the Bud Light frogs.
Anti-frog.
He's like, just use a proper English.
Too urban for him. Pull your frog pants up.
Exactly. I can see your frog ass. I can see your frog ass.
It says, I'm between jobs right now, and I'm doing gig work to tide me over. The only ones I didn't get put on the wait list for were Uber Eats and Spark, which is the Walmart delivery. Just picked up an order at Walmart, and there was one spot in the pickup area in the shade.
I'm sorry.
And it was the spot furthest away from the door. Am I the a-hole for parking in the shady spot and making the Walmart employees walk further into the sun so I don't have to be in it? I think in general I would be, but I also hop out of my nice, cool car and help them load my trunk when they come out. Much love to you all. Well, they have designated parking spaces for the pickup, right? So if it was that space and it was in the shade, it's fine.
Yeah,
but if it's the farthest
but if it's
one,
it's fine.
Well,
they want to stretch their legs.
Please do not do some Tom overthinking on this. If there are 4 spots,
I'm thinking the proper amount.
No, you're not. If you're wasting time, and you're always worried about wasting time. You got to think a little faster.
Quit thinking, start working.
4 parking spots, 3 are in the sun and 1 is in the shade, and they're all for pickup, and you hit the one in the shade, you're still on task. You got it.
Yeah.
Well, Walmart...
And you're helping them load your car.
I wouldn't.
You don't have to do that.
I don't do that with ABC. I pop the trunk, they put it in, I drive away.
Parking in the shade is for when you leave your car. Not when you're sitting in there.
Well, she has to sit there and wait for them to come out. And
She's gonna
sometimes
wait a
those
little
Walmart employees, they'll take their damn time.
Yeah,
No,
because they go out there and smoke a cigarette first. I know how it works.
When the car's running, you have AC. So
You do.
There's no,
But it
there's
is
not
cool-
that much benefit.
But it is cooler in the shade.
Yeah, but by a small margin because you're running your AC.
Okay, well, that's for you to debate. But she's asking, are you an a-hole for doing that? And the answer is no. No, you're not.
I think it's fine.
Hold on. Walmart, I've been to the Walmart pickup because...
No, you haven't. You said you never go to Walmart. Now you're lying.
Well, no, inside. And I do...
step foot in a Walmart.
I've had to go inside Walmart for
I love
emergencies.
It. It's so nice.
Ooh, emergency Walmart stuff.
It's so nice.
It's not nice.
The savings are nice.
It is. Order a line. Anyway, the Walmart pickup is an insane amount of parking spaces. It's like 20 parking spaces. So the end one...
Not at my Walmart.
No?
No. At max 10.
I don't know what we have up here
Well,
at
the one on Colonial actually does
It's a
have
lot.
a lot. The one on Colonial does.
Yeah, so in my Walmart, the Castleberry Walmart, which you
I'm
need
glad
a lot
you
of-
take-
Which everybody goes to.
I'm glad you take ownership of that.
It's like
It's half the parking lot.
you could park pretty close. I mean,
Can
we're
we just
talking
stop
about
saying Castleberry Walmart and just
30.
say Castleberry is a Walmart?
well, okay, but
Walmartception.
going back to parking in the shade with your car running, I don't think that helps that much.
Yeah, it does.
It does?
Yeah, because there's sun coming through your windshield.
Yeah, well, it's also...
Heating up your entire car.
But then when you're driving around, there's sun heating up your
You've
car.
never
all
been
that.
driving in a car and had sun hit your legs so much you can feel it heating up?
Or your arm, yeah.
Usually,
I did that on my road trip on the way home, and I rolled the window down and
Yeah.
did the redneck move where you put a T-shirt through the window.
Yeah, when you're on a road trip and the sun is stationary for long periods of time.
Well, I'm
it
sitting in
burns
my
your
car.
legs.
It's stationary.
Yeah.
Well,
This guy just likes arguing.
I'm just saying, if you're in your car,
I'm at the point with the listeners now where you have tried to cloak what you have appeared. You've come up with this idea that you have the proper amount of thinking, and that whatever you say is the right way of it being thought out, and it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong.
I just want someone to explain it to me. Like,
I did. There's sun still coming through. If you parked in the shade, less sun in your car. Boom.
Okay.
Easy. Science. Sunshine.
I will stop commenting on
you don't need
our
to stop.
talk show about our listeners'
No,
emails.
It's not stop commenting. It's just don't, when we explain
Just
it to
say-
you, go, you're right.
It's got to be a
instead of-
conversation.
Yeah.
It can't be, no, this is what it is.
Well,
Because that's your opinion.
No, I understand. I'm just trying to make a joke about it.
No, I didn't know it was a joke.
Well,
Jokes are typically funny, like funny stuff.
Hilarious. Let's read the email and just say, all right, next email.
Very good.
Yeah, very good. Move on. Like that's what.
So that's a two.
Other-
That's two versus one.
Yeah.
Dan and I think you are not the a-hole. Tom thinks that you are the a-hole.
Yeah, Tom thinks you're an a-hole, and that it doesn't matter much. If you're in the sun, your car is going to stay about the same as it would be if you were in the shade. That makes sense to me.
If your car's on, like I understand leaving
Well,
it.
I think we're all assuming the car is on because it's 105 degrees
Could
outside.
not have AC though. You never know.
Okay,
Right?
next one.
All right. It says, image highfalutin Goodwill. So my 13-year-old daughter and I traveled from South Daytona to Port Orange, passing 2 Goodwill stores in order to shop at the highfalutin Goodwill in the good old rich people mecca, Port Orange, Florida. Because everybody knows that thrift stores in more affluent areas is where you get the good stuff. I literally made a post about this the other day. That is true. If you go to the richer neighborhoods, they have the better stuff at Goodwill.
Like Plato's Closet. Like
It depends,
There's
yeah.
some, but the ones that you hit that are outside of better neighborhoods have better gear.
Yeah.
Well, they're giving away more expensive garbage.
Right.
Sure.
We really like this particular Goodwill because they actually trust their shoppers and have dressing rooms. Unlike the one in Holly Hill in Daytona Beach, where they stopped people from using the dressing rooms. On account of people going into the dressing room and layering 9 pairs of camo and khaki shorts and 12 NASCAR shirts, only to awkwardly waddle towards the cashier with a $1.25 pair of used boxers. To my daughter and my surprise, our Golden Goose Port Orange Goodwill store had removed all the dressing rooms at their location. As I figured out this tragic turn of events, I shook my fist to the sky and yelled, "God damn you white trash people." My hidden secret was out. Other white trash people must have ruined it for us all. And there goes my back-to-school shopping for the sweet, sweet low price of $8 and change. All was not lost, though, as my daughter was wearing spandex and was able to slip on a sweet pair of Wranglers, and I found something that I've wanted for a while, but I can't afford the jacked-up price of this particular item. To my chagrin, I found this badass Tom and Dan shirt for the much more appropriate price of $1.99, only 49 cents more than my past limit high price of used boxer shorts. So I guess our yearly journey to the highfalutin Goodwill was not a total bust. P.S. When I got home, I was eager to try on my new Tom and Dan shirt when I noticed that the armpits were all stained yellow.
That's probably mine.
How in the world can you stain a gray shirt yellow?
All my shirts. I can stain a black shirt yellow pits.
One of my fist shakes to the sky, goddamn you white trash people. Psst, but it's PSS. Also was not lost, as any well-respected white trashman cut off the sleeves to expose my sweet barbed wire tat. Victory is mine.
Oh, nice.
Now, the shirt in question is the Wildman shirt, which
Yes.
I believe was a green shirt. Not gray.
It's green in that picture. It's
well,
just
he
like,
says gray shirt, so
it printed weird, I think. Or did we do a reboot of the Wildman?
I don't think so. I think it faded to gray.
No, it didn't go from green to gray. It had to have been. We may have
Maybe
made
he
a gray
overwashed it.
I thought we did a second version.
I think we did.
I think we did a second version.
Small runs of different color.
It's all
ones.
running
There you
together
go.
now. All my shirts, I sweat a lot. You guys don't sweat as much as me, so I bet you and Sam both don't have. Well, Sam especially. I've never seen a woman that has yellow pit stains. Never.
I have.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's a thing, and this ties into this listener's email, in gambling where if you know a particular trend that people bet on, like, for instance, if the away team has a bye or what, there's certain trends that people like that are popular, that people are like, oh, that's, for instance, this preseason coming up, the Baltimore Ravens haven't lost a preseason game in like 25 games in a row. They won 26. There's like the record in the NFL, obviously, that'll never be broken because they haven't lost in like 5 years preseason.
Sure.
So everybody knows that. So therefore, the value of the bet is now gone because everybody knows it, right?
Right.
And so the same thing applies for all these tips and tricks with people trying to get value on, like, oh, go to the rich neighborhood thrift store. That's where the good stuff is. If you know it, everybody knows it. And therefore, they've picked through all the good stuff. And when you get there, nothing's going to be there.
You know where it happened again is Sriracha. There's a shortage on Sriracha.
Mm-hmm.
The original one made by, I forget the name of the company, like Hung Fo or something like that. But the one that everybody sees that's in the bottle with the green top.
Yeah.
And you can't
standard.
you can't find it. It's nowhere. But Andrea and I were onto this like trick. You had to go to like coastal towns. If you could hit up like a Winn-Dixie or a Publix on the beach, for some reason, less people were using the Sriracha. I don't know if it's a city thing. I don't know if there's less Asian restaurants on the beach. That sort of makes sense, right? I mean, like, most of your Asian restaurants, stereotypically, are like in a downtown area or a strip mall, or like we have Little Saigon here, where it's just all Vietnamese restaurants that are awesome, right? So you go to a coastal area, and, man, we were scooping up Sriracha like crazy. Finding it. Yeah, we found it in Myrtle Beach. Tons of Sriracha, because it's just not getting used.
Right.
But we've been trying it lately. Can't find it. People are onto it. They're like, or just the natural use of Sriracha is like whittling it down, rather. But it used to be that a tip for people, I would tell people, oh, you can't find Sriracha? Next time you're at the beach, swing through a Publix, swing through a Winn-Dixie, you'll find it.
See,
not anymore.
I buy a lot of Sriracha, and I can't tell the difference between like the Tabasco brand Sriracha or any other brand Sriracha, and then
lucky you, man.
The stereotypical Sriracha. They
I
all
wish I
taste the
couldn't
same.
tell the difference. I wish I couldn't. Andrea bought the Texas Pete one. I don't like it.
But it's Sriracha, right?
It's Sriracha.
Yeah.
It's Texas Pete brand Sriracha, but it's just not.
What's different about it?
I can't tell you. I wish it may be nothing. It may just be the bottle.
Well, that is nothing.
I know you want that, but it's
then it's just mental.
I know you don't live with any feelings, but it's whatever. I look at the bottle and I'm like, I taste it.
There's a difference in ketchup, like Heinz and Hunt's taste different.
Hunt's is a little sweeter, I believe.
And then, like,
Duke's is tangier.
But with Sriracha, no one's been able to express to me the exact difference, or at least
I can give you one. The
like
Texas Pete one is hotter, and it has a little bit more of a forward pepper flavor, like more Tex-Mex.
Okay,
and it's supposed to be Asian,
right?
All right, yeah. No, that I can get. If you can give me an,
but here's the part you're gonna hate. I say that, but it might just be the bottle.
Yeah. Well,
I have to say that.
Psychological.
As you said it, I knew it was it's not actual real. It was just the way you felt about
And
it.
I knew you knew. I knew you knew. That's why this works. Next email.
Okay. Tom's Tell. Hey, show. I picked up on this recently, and I've been listening to test my hypothesis. Tom has a terrible tell when he's lying.
Don't tell it. Don't know. Then save that. And then we'll do the company poker tournament at the end of the year.
I think that's happening soon. Real Radio's poker tournament.
Yeah, we're
that
not.
we were not invited to.
We're not at that. We're not going to that.
I'll tell you if this is correct, but I
know what it
already don't think it is because I don't really lie, especially on the show.
Well, like lying or
exaggerate,
like,
maybe.
What about like alluding? What about holding something like not to,
omitting the truth?
Like not, yeah, just like not saying anything.
Oh, well, that's not lying. That's pleading.
I'm not saying it's lying. I'm not saying. Hold on, I'm not saying it's lying. But you don't. A tell can be for something where you're uncomfortable. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're lying. It can be that you're in a situation where you're nervous, and then you're showing something. That's the tell.
Okay, yeah. All right.
He says, yeah, in response to a question, but he doesn't actually mean to answer
That's not true.
in the
No.
affirmative.
That's not a tell.
He just wants you to continue with whatever you're saying. This most often occurs when Dan asks if anyone remembers some pop culture reference or show or commercial or song that serves as the context for an upcoming story. Tom's a liar. He's the bad one.
Whoa.
Tom, go ahead and claim your trailer is homemade. It's just par for the course now.
So he's saying you lie all the time, and when you lie, you say yeah.
No, I say yeah. I do this to my wife.
That's yes and. That's just yes and for the show. That's not a tell.
Yeah.
I'll defend you.
Oh, you just said it! Oh, it's natural, yeah.
Oh, it's just the move. It's the move.
He's lying.
No. That's,
Now it's no. He went from yeah to no.
Yeah.
When it's really no.
That's
you be saying
it's to move you along and dismiss whatever you're saying, so I can talk.
Yes, that is true.
It's like,
well, hold on.
I do this to my wife all the time. Like she's talking, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait.
You
to
just
talk.
agree, so they'll get through it, so you can get to what you want.
I think we both do that.
I
think
know.
we both do. Okay, want me to give you a real one that I've noticed? There's a real one I've
It's not
noticed.
lying, though.
And I don't think it has to do with lying. Because I'm just going to go on this as a tell. I have one too. I'll give you mine first. There used to be a tell I'd have when I was telling a lie on the morning show or even on this show. I don't think I do it so much anymore. But when I was like spinning a yarn and trying to get people to go along, I would take my hand and kind of push my palm into my eye and move my eye like this, like scratch it.
Yeah.
And it was always a tell. It was always a tell.
That's super obvious.
I can't stop.
No. Yeah. Rub my eye. And then, like, the one that I see him do, and I don't know what it is connected to, but I think it's when you're thinking, and I think it's a comfort thing. It's almost like a cigarette. I used to love having a cigarette when I was riding. It was like a thing for me. You'll push your head.
Yeah, I've seen him do that.
You push it right here. You push or itch your head, and I'm like, he's thinking.
Yeah, you start
something.
grinding like you're grinding
you
a booger.
grind your
in there.
head. You booger grind your head.
Yeah.
Well, it's to try to stimulate my brain.
You're like, come on, brain, kick in.
Yeah, it's like a weed eater. It's just like, it won't start. Push the bulb.
Prime it.
I'm like, push my forehead.
And then I have a really bad one that I've been trying to break, where I grab my penis at all times.
Yeah.
No matter where I'm at. Could be sitting here, could be at TGI Fridays, Buffalo Wild Wings, teacher-parent conference. It's a thing. I'll just start doing like a grab.
The chat is now comparing Tom to Kanye West. The Kanye quote, "I'ma let you finish." The yeah.
That's a bad habit of speech pattern that I have is the yeah.
Well, you're not listening fully.
Neither of us
Again,
are.
you're just waiting for your turn to talk instead of
Yes.
actually listening to the response.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
listening.
fun.
It is fun.
But I want someone to challenge
talk.
me or engage me.
We tried to, and then you just got mad about it and said you're not going to comment on the
you said you're
emails
gonna
anymore.
shut down. I was just screwing around.
Well, you said that I have to ask on everything. That's what my wife
Well,
says.
you do, though. Let's be fair.
No, I know. But
This is so fun. This is yeah. This is so
it's
fun.
because if someone tells me something and I want to go somewhere with it, like, why is that? Or maybe what you're thinking isn't true, or whatever. If they
Let's
just
study it.
If they were just telling me something just to tell me, then I'll give them a yeah.
Okay.
Because that I didn't listen to them. I was just like that. They weren't like asking me a question. They weren't telling me something that could be challenged. It's just like, here's something I have to get off my chest, and I'm going to tell you. But you can't do anything with it. It's not interesting. It's a nothing.
Well, it could be interesting to other people, though.
Well, a lot of things my wife tells me I think is interesting to no one. I think if you were listening to it, if we were doing a show, me and my wife were doing a show, and we had listeners, I think they would be like, come on, get to the good part. Like, it's
come on, I hope he throws a yeah in here soon.
Yeah, like, do you want to start an argument? Are you telling me an interesting fact? Or are you just telling me some mundane thing that no one cares about? Then I'll give you the yeah.
I do that a lot, too. Like, not to come to her defense, but I do a lot of I do a lot of statements that I'm saying the statement. I mean, you do it too, but I don't know.
I want some sort of engagement, some sort of like, are we discussing an interesting topic?
Yeah.
Are you telling me something that we can argue about, or at least
do you want that so bad that you're willing to fabricate the continuation of the discussion? Because what if there's nothing to discuss? But would your brain force you to be like, no, I'm gonna like,
I'll try to
even engage this from a different angle to keep it moving.
Oh yeah,
because in that case, it's not genuine.
It isn't.
And there'd be no reason to even investigate it because there's no reason to investigate it. There's no reason to extend the story.
But the reason is to make the conversation interesting, in my mind.
But stretching it out doesn't guarantee it's going to be interesting. It just might be stretching out something that's completely uninteresting. It could be doing the opposite, right?
It could, but then why'd you tell me something uninteresting? I blame the person that's talking.
This is why Tom and I don't talk.
It's wild in there, man. It's wild in there.
Crystal will start talking and tell me something, and then I'll listen to what she's saying, and then go through in my mind as like, all right, are there holes in this theory? Is this something that's not true? Mm-hmm. Or is it just a nothing? This tree is far away. You're just talking to talk. Right. And then I have to go through all those different.
That's horrible.
Aspects.
So
of
again,
why.
he's doing this instead of listening. He's going through all these things instead of actually listening to what she's saying.
Well, because
you do this to me too.
Emotional people do this. Daniel does this all the time, where it's just like, I have to figure out, are you saying something that you want an answer to?
Or are you just venting?
Or are you just
chirping?
Puking it out there.
Yeah, a lot of times.
You're sneezing it out, and you need some ears
puking
for your sneeze.
I think puking is probably a better example because
you need someone to hold your hair while I puke it out to make me feel better. But I never know. And then with Daniel, it's real confusing because he's a male, and I'm used to it coming from my wife. So
what's the main difference you see?
What?
Because there are similarities between the emotional aspect of Crystal and the emotional aspects of me, because there are things that Crystal says that I go, oh man, that's me 100%. Like, I see it.
Well, no, it's all just emotional people will get things off their chest and not want any sort of
solution,
or they're not.
I am different though. I'm usually looking for a solution. So you have a full pass with me. If I barf at you, you can give me a solution. And I'll never be annoyed, I promise you.
No. You never.
I'm not like the woman aspect. Andrea's like that too. Like, she'll want to vent, but don't tell her what to do with the venting.
Yeah.
That was not the. I get what you're saying. Yes.
But you got to tell the person who doesn't understand.
I'll do that
right off the bat. Like, hey. And Daniel will do this. He's like, hey, I'm venting. And then I'm like, all right. And then I shut my ears off. because what does it matter if I'm actually listening or not?
Oh, my God.
Hold on. The venter doesn't even care if the person's listening. They just puking it out.
That's where he's wrong.
Well, no, I mean, you never say, repeat back to me what I've said.
Why would anyone do that?
I'm not married to you. It does hurt my feelings, but I have no recourse. I'm not married to you. I have no kids. So I'm like, well, it hurts my feelings, but I'll move on.
You're the bad one, Tom.
I'm not even bad. I'm just telling you the truth.
He is just telling the truth. No, it's not bad. It's not bad just to be who he is. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I get it.
If you just want to get it out, I don't even know why you need another human there. Just tell it to the wall. And that's what I.
Why do you think I talked to Dansby? Why do you think I talked to Dansby? That dog has more. That poor dog. He begs every night to be taken in his sleep.
Well, that's when I realized Andrea is a genius. Is because she realized, if I get Daniel a dog,
Stop talking to me.
100% she did that.
A lot
I
of
did, yeah, again.
1,000%. My wife bought me an awesome dog so she doesn't have to hear my BS. 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
That is. I have figured that out, and I'm actually okay with it because I love him so much.
Yeah.
But that is what she did. She got tired of hearing my BS.
Or get it out to the dog,
Yeah.
and then that'll take a certain amount.
And it is an emotional support animal. It is 100%. And do I need it? Yeah. Ask my business partner. He'd say, hell yeah, he needs it. He needs it bad.
The problem is then we get a dog, it's sleeping in our bed, it stinks.
You don't have to let your dog sleep in your bed.
Yeah, well, it's not my choice anyway.
Sorry.
Plus, you already have 2 children that
Sorry,
sleep in there. So.
allow me to weigh in as the emotional person. Dog's going to sleep with him. I'm an emotional person. I love sleeping
When
with
do
my
you
dog.
finally kick the boys out of bed?
They have stopped for at least the most part, and now it only happens like maybe once a week now. So it's going to 0.
You shouldn't have brought it up. 'Cause it makes you sad. It does make you sad.
Because eventually
Aren't
it's going to
you
be.
glad you're not getting kicked in the nuts every night?
Well,
A little of both, good and bad.
It's a double-sided sword.
Yeah.
It's a tell that they're growing up, and this them being scared or like being younger babies.
The dependency is moving away.
Is moving away. So it's kind of sad, So that's why even when they were doing it, we never put our foot down because they're like, eventually it's going to be done, and then you're going to be sad about it.
I mean, I'll give you crap about it, but I knew what you're doing, and it makes sense because I hate the growing up aspect. I love it. Double-edged, right? Like, you want to see them grow, and you want to see them accomplish, but you also want them to be babies for the rest of their lives, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it just it signifies a time period is about to be done with, and then soon. I mean, they both sleep in the same bed, which I'm wondering when that's going to change.
Okay.
It will,
because eventually, what's going to start happening, and then they're going to want to be in their own rooms. The other day, they went into.
I don't
the
like thinking
rooms
about any of that, dude.
and closed the door to change, and that's a new one. Just like. They wanted some privacy, which has not ever been a thing in our house.
Showers are done officially. I told you guys I'd say that when it happened. It's done. All done.
All right.
Yeah, it's about time, guys.
Yeah. Absolutely. But, it is. Those are these big defining ear markers that any parent listening to this, well, not any parent, because there are some that don't care about your children, but the ones that do. I know that you know what we're talking about. It's terrible. Terrible earmark.
Yeah.
But also good to see them grow.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
We got the food truck event on Sunday.
Excuse me, food truck fiesta.
Food truck fiesta.
He doesn't like saying fiesta because
He hates
fiesta,
fun?
it's a bit more fun than event. But, I'll say it for you. The food truck fiesta, it's on the 13th. And how many food trucks are there?
It's a lot.
30 plus.
Yeah.
Every second
but
Sunday.
I think it's closer to 40, if I'm just being honest.
Yeah, and then Eric Birchman brings the Tom and Dan tent out. He always has a $10 shirt rack.
That's really the highlight. The highlight of the food truck fiesta are the $10 shirts.
Yeah, and then now we got Modern Plumbing that sets up their tent next to Eric. They give out things, and you could talk to them as well.
I'm hoping, though, that they do not bring... because a lot of places of business, when they come to sort of be with Eric and show their wares, showcase, if you will, to the public, I'm always a little concerned that Modern PI will bring out a novelty toilet and sit it out there.
Oh, no.
That's always scares me. The novelty toilet.
I like that.
The novelty toilet. I'm looking at you, IKEA. I'm looking at you, Best Buy.
Oh,
I'm looking at you, Home Depot. Those toilets all across North America, currently, as I speak, have people sitting on them, deucing into them, because people can't control themselves at stores. It's
they
true.
should get, the little inflatable cup holders.
But little toilets?
They
Dude,
should do
can
little
we do
cup
that?
holder toilets.
Can we?
And we can give them to Modern PI to hand out at the food truck fiesta.
Can we do for Modern PI? Because do you know how long?
And we'll say, flush it out.
Yeah, hold on a minute. I almost jumped across and hugged you.
I'm gonna
That's
write this down.
fantastic.
Write it down.
Mini
What about a
inflatable
koozie?
toilets.
What about a little toilet koozie?
Yeah.
That you put your beer in that says flush it out.
Foam koozie or inflatable? Either
Foam.
one.
It's got
Either one.
Inflatable would be nicer, a little heftier, but a foam. Hold on.
But also same day as the food truck fiesta, they are also doing the Pints and Paws reboot from 2 to 6 p.m. They're going to have raffles, live music, vendors. It's free to attend, and bring your furry friends.
Foam toilet koozie. Got him.
You know what's weird?
Got him right here. Boom. Novelty toilet
Dude.
foam can coolie. Why? Let's talk about that for a second. Is it coolie? Is it koozie with a K or koozie with a C? I want to know.
I always put a K.
Once
'cause
and
it's
for
kookier.
all. My mom and dad called them coolies.
Yep, my dad, I was about to
Some
say
people,
that.
some people call them cozies.
Yeah, I think
That's a northern thing. The cozy
Cozy
is
is a northern
Maine-
thing. Goddamn Yankees.
I've never heard coolie either.
Coolie is when I
My
first
dad
met
called them
Tom.
Coolie cups.
Yeah, Coolie Cups.
Coolie
I
Cups.
think
Yeah.
that might have been a brand. You might want to look up Coolie Cups.
Yeah.
But yeah, my
I
mom
grew
and
up
dad,
in-
I grew up too,
Yeah.
but then somewhere along the line, I think the radio business, because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
radio business is fueled by koozies. The whole radio business is held together by koozies.
Yeah, when I first heard koozie, I thought it was a stupid.
I'm not doing that. That's a Coolie Cup.
Yeah. I didn't even.
So koozie with a K is a registered trademark. So some people call them koozies with a C as to not get sued, basically.
Look up the origin of Coolie Cup.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that.
I'm going to
and-
guess that's a brand. Coolie Cup is a brand, buddy. Doesn't it sound like a brand?
It does.
Coolie Cup brand beverage cooler.
CoolieNation.com.
What?
Custom Coolie and koozie trademarked.
Wait,
So
Coolie
Coolie Cup is the style and koozie is the brand.
Okay,
Koozie with a K.
So Koozie with a K owns Coolie Cup?
No.
No, Coolie Cup is
The
what
type
the
of
type of thing it is.
product,
So
yes.
our parents were right. It is
It's
a Coolie Cup,
but
it's
Koozie's a
Koozie
brand.
brand.
Well,
That's
it's not
like clean-
Coolie Cup. It's just Coolie.
Oh, Coolie.
You guys are adding cup.
Okay,
Well, where'd they
yeah.
get cup from?
I don't know.
Because
You
my
put your
parents
cup
said,
in it.
I swear to God, as a good Florida trash man, my parents said Coolie Cup too.
Yeah.
And my Bucky and all the god sisters and everybody. I remember hearing Coolie Cup, and they used to be foam with a plastic rim on the top.
Oh, I remember the rim.
The rim.
Yeah.
The rim is when you knew you were
That's
fancy.
I was going to say, that's fancy.
Yeah.
We didn't have no rims over
Now,
in our neighborhood.
my godfather, Bucky, I remember because he was a poolman. Before we were poolmen, he had a gunite pool. We had a vinyl liner. Gunite pool, far superior. Like, if you had a gunite pool, you were rich. We had a vinyl liner.
Yeah.
Poor. And Bucky
I had a vinyl liner in Deltona. It is bad.
Well, we're poor.
I'm
And then
like-
you get the Coolie Cups, like a koozie has no top on it. Has no plastic rim.
Yeah.
A Coolie, or Coolie Cup as my parents or Bucky called them, had a plastic rim. It was fancier. It had more heft.
Can we order some plastic rim old school Coolie Cups?
Since we have started this business, Sam, Tom, and I have been obsessed with old style koozies.
Well, the big foamers.
Big foamers,
I want to order big foamers every time.
Well, Tony always outvotes us, or he'll secretly order the ones that you can slip in your pocket, which don't do anything.
Yeah.
They just make your beer a little puffier.
Because the big foamers won't fall down on your boat console.
No, they will not.
Yeah.
You can't kick them over.
It's its own cup, like a cup holder.
Yeah, you can't kick it over.
But they are more expensive and hard to store.
Let me ask you a serious question about the foamy.
300 of them take up, 100 square feet.
The box is as big as an LG refrigerator.
Yeah. It's a refrigerator box. And then Eric's like, I can't take this anymore.
His wife is yelling at him. Eric's
It's in my kids' room.
Eric's children have a refrigerator box of big 1980s foamers, and guess what? They're off-gassing like crazy. His whole house smells like plastic. It's terrible.
You know, I want to put a challenge out there.
No.
I want to find like an original Coolie Cup
With the plastic
but
rim.
made in America.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna ask you about
in
that. I got a
the
serious
80s,
question.
they didn't make stuff in China as much. I think they did, but it wasn't a prevalent thing. So there were still factories in the United States
I got a serious
pumping out
question.
Coolie Cups.
When you get a Coolie Cup, a big foamer, and you flip it upside down, do you or do you not use your index finger to pick off the tiny gold China tag? Forever, a big foamer, 100% of the time, 1,000% of the time, your big foamer, if you flip it up and it's brand new, will have a little gold sticker that actually costs more than the foam. Little gold sticker that says China on it. Do you pick it off or do you leave it on?
Well, yeah, pick it off.
I pick it off. I pick it off too. And then I roll it, and you know what I do with it? Because I don't like the litter, I take the little rolled piece of paper and I stick it in my pocket. and I've done that 1,000 times.
I feel like there's no need for that sticker because we
know.
all know. It's like you don't have to put the tiny cold
It's on the refrigerator box.
Yeah. Like it's some garbage that's foam or plastic. I know where it's made. It's like
with plastic rim. All right, I'm looking
if
it up for
someone breaks.
Oh, here it is. Dude, I found it.
If someone breaks the 40-meter dash world record, I know what race they are.
Right. For the most part.
You don't have to tell me. You don't have to
For the
tell
most
me.
part, yeah.
I don't know.
Here it is. Here's one. That's what I'm talking about right there. But that's like a see-through one. No, that's not good.
Yeah, it's like a half-inch of hard plastic rim at the top.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Which keeps the top from like smushing down and becoming
wilty.
It gets
like,
all loose like a wizard sleeve.
Yeah, it's like putting a wire. It's like putting a wire frame inside your foreskin
or brassiere.
It's like an underwire. It is like an underwire.
It holds the shape.
This guy knows brassieres.
I know brassieres and koozies. I don't know that much about brassieres.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure you know anything about brassiere.
This may be too much information. You can tell me to shut the F up, but do you have to wear one of the ones, or do you have one of the ones that crosses in the back for business? Like where it...
What I have on right now crosses in
the back for business. My wife doesn't have enough.
What's for business?
My wife doesn't have enough for it to need to cross in the back. It's like, like if you're just writing a ticket, you don't need your bulletproof vest. You know?
Yeah. When you're building a small bridge, you don't even need all the arches.
One man.
You need the suspension arches.
Yeah, me and a buddy can knock it out in one afternoon. It's not that hard.
Sorry.
I've always wanted my underwear to cross on the back.
They make those.
Really?
Yeah.
For guys that got big ones?
Yeah. That's for Adrian Peterson. It's not for us.
It's never for us.
I just need an eye patch worth of string.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm just saying. Doesn't need
I could just use a small
material.
I could use a hillbilly's bandana. That would be just enough.
All right, let's get to business here. Enough joking around.
We took quite the journey there.
Enough joking around.
Let's get serious on this comedy show.
Yeah, man.
Let's do some emails.
All right.
All right. First email. We neglect the written word.
Mr. Beast fan. Hey, Tom, Dan, and Sam. Huge fan of the show since the Ed Till days.
Oh,
well, that wasn't this show.
Yeah. Well,
by the way.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he's lumping it all in. But pause just real quick.
Yeah.
Inundated with adults who love Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
And I think they think that we're hating on them because they like Mr. Beast. Let me just blanket statement from me and say, I am not. Like what you like.
I think when Tom says things like, what is it? He's doing nothing.
Yeah, we don't understand
that kind of
it.
thing.
But I don't, man,
that's a dumb old man thing.
I really don't want to become that guy.
Well, that's why people feel the need to defend why they watch it.
Don't defend it. If you want to tell me why you like it, do it. But don't think that you need to defend yourself. You're fine. I like QVC, for Christ's sake, guys.
We all like what we like.
No, but you can't. Can you get worse than any of the stuff that I like to watch with my daughter? I watch Bread Maker. Like last night, we were watching Christmas decorations. Already rolling out Halloween decorations,
Christmas. We're just getting Halloween.
I'm watching
old people like to order
way in advance.
I'm watching solar fence lighting. I'm watching gas grill cleaner. Great cleaner.
Hold on,
and Maisie loves it. So anyway, I will not judge you.
Okay.
Sorry, I just saw the comment. Pete Davidson's coming into town next week.
Yeah, I knew he was going to do dates.
Next week?
Yeah, last minute booking. Anyway.
Where at?
Improv.
Oh, can he come in here? Thanks, Pete. Thanks a lot, Pete.
Seems like he'd sell out pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't think I'll need to come in here.
It is going to be a phone-free experience, they said. No phones. Remember he cussed out the kids at UCF for busting out their phones?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Anyway,
Okay.
So back to this email. You guys were recently talking about the latest Mr. Beast video and whether or not adults even watch his stuff. Well, I'm only 6 months older than Dan, and I watch. I used to hate him, though. He's got a very punchable face, and I thought his whole gimmick was just a bunch of BS. Then I watched some interviews with him and eventually got hooked. Did I like the last video on the raft? No, not really. At this point, most of his videos are kind of blah, but he still gets my support. He does so much for his community, but also the rest of the world through his charities that I make it a point to watch his videos all the way through just to help with his ad revenue. The videos I really enjoy are on his Beast Philanthropy channel, where it shows where his charities are doing what his charities are doing to help people. In general, I watch YouTube for one of 3 reasons. 1, I enjoy the content and find it interesting. 2, I personally know the creator and want to show my support. Or 3, I support what the person or persons are doing, so I want to show support by watching videos regardless of whether or not I like the content. I download every single episode you guys put out. I try to listen to all of them, but I know that if I at least download it, it may help you a little bit.
It does, yeah.
It's the least an out-of-town BDM can do to support you other than my membership fee. Keep up the great work. I will always download and listen as much as I can.
I'm like this guy, too. When I'm not watching porno, I'm watching charity videos.
But
I can't get enough of the charity videos. I'm like, what are they doing? Oh, look at those unfortunates. Oh, they're racing. Oh, that's great.
If you download the episode...
Blankets for the homeless, yes!
Play it for, at minimum, 1 minute so we get the actual download. Yeah. They don't tell you that. You can't just download it and it counts as a download. Yeah, you got to listen for at least 1 minute.
Just hit play and put it in your pocket.
Yeah, you just silence it. Yeah,
that's what I do. You
put it on mute.
You guys don't think that I press play on our newest podcast as soon as we're done with it? As soon as I see it clear on my phone, I hit play on Apple Podcasts. Then I hit play on Spotify. Same time, running at the same time. I just turn the volume down and I just let them roll in my pocket.
The only problem with that is that our numbers actually matter very little with our business.
Absolutely true.
It's really the people that actually listen to support our sponsors. And now, if you're a BDM, that helps us.
Yeah, that one definitely helps.
But the actual download now, it does help us generally, like to have higher download numbers. But no one's ever asked to prove it.
No,
I always find that odd. Like I present sponsors numbers, and we'll go back to Mr. Beast because I have a theory on this, but I present the sponsors like our numbers real, like like these are actual numbers.
Yeah.
But no one questions it or be like, prove it. But I always am afraid they will, so I never exaggerate.
I have a theory on that though. And this isn't a diss on anybody that's in a small business or any client of ours or anybody or even us. I think that, and I think that maybe this was deliberate or maybe subconsciously deliberate, but I think like through radio, even TV ratings and all of that, impressions, all of that stuff, I think it's subconsciously and deliberately confusing. Because if it were simple and very easy to say like, you listen 7 times, here's the 7 times you listened, boom, it works every time. Well, that would be far too easy, right? And then the jig's up, right?
Yeah,
then the whole thing explodes. The balloon pops. It has to be confusing, and I think most people don't ask. And again, not a diss on small business because we don't ask. When people come in here and want to we'll help you guys advertise, and they'll say that you could get this many impressions. We don't dial it down. Or hold their feet to the fire because it's too effing confusing, and you don't want to feel stupid, and you're in the meeting, and you just want to hope that the guy, what he's telling you is true, and that he can actually help you, and you want to believe in that person, right?
Now
that's the emotional side.
There is the with our advertisers, like all that matters is if our listeners use their business,
correct,
and then once that starts happening, the person's like, "That's all I want."
Get the message out, execute.
Like, I see them using the business or using the promo code or like Manscaped, Tom and Dan 20. Or, it's like they can prove it, and then it's an easy relationship, right? There's no like presenting all these numbers like exposure, impressions, all look at the value of this.
But have you ever noticed that it goes better when we keep it more simple because people don't want it to get complicated because it's too confusing.
Yeah, but it's just like our listeners walking into your business with a Tom and Dan shirt, buying something,
or asking for whatever you have, your product,
or saying I heard it from Tom and Dan. That's all that always matters or whatever. But it is funny that like when you present someone, hey, this is how many people are listening. No one's ever said like, well, where'd you like? Can you show me? Can you go on Libsyn and then bring up in front of me and then just show me that these numbers are correct?
Libsyn. I've never had anybody even ask me what Libsyn is.
No.
Or I've never had anybody ask me how is it hosted? Where is it stored? Where does it go? Where do my commercials go? Where do you keep them?
And it's usually because
how far do they go back? How many shows do you keep?
there's a BDM, either like they listen, the owner listens, or within the business, a BDM is telling them,
right,
like giving them the confidence of like, I go to the events.
Those are my favorites.
Yeah. So, okay, back to Mr. Beast. So my sons on Fridays, we let them watch YouTube in the mornings before school.
On Fridays?
Just Fridays?
Just Friday. Well, it's funny. Like some of the, like we limit YouTube to a certain time and then screens are whatever.
Yeah, I don't blame you for limiting anything.
But they were watching Mr. Beast, and I am trying to give Mr. Beast, because of what this gentleman said, like he seems like a really good guy.
Seems like a nice person.
And that does a lot for charity and is anti-corporation, because some of my criticism is that I want him to be more corporate with his business.
Well, but that's
and he's running it loose, which is funny because that's how we run. But.
Yeah, but you also have a particular style. You want it to seem a certain way. You know, you could call it stuck in your ways or just maybe what you prefer.
But even though he's making an insane amount of money, and
he's doing just fine without your advice.
He's a brilliant businessman, just with all the stuff he's done.
We need to ask him how to run our
100%. Yeah.
Oh, he changed a lot. He would change a lot.
So I'm watching Mr. Beast and now trying to because Mr. Beast is not my criticism. Like, he's the owner, he's the one that started this whole thing. It's his supporting cast that I'm questioning whether he could get a better supporting cast. See, you know what I'm saying?
It's not about that, though.
No, I know. It's his friends, and
I see what you're saying.
And I saw some BDM even mention like, I listen because of you guys and everybody on the show. I wouldn't want you guys to get some pro comedian in here that I want the show.
Let's talk about that. We've talked about that before, where Tom and I have had this idea where we thought about going out. This is serious too. I don't think we've ever talked about this. You and I have talked about before where it would be freeing in a weird way because of the business aspect of running the show and plugs and stuff, to go out and try and find somebody who's an amazing broadcaster that can be the quintessential perfect straight man, run the show, and be the host. And me and Tom take back our roles that we used to have, is like, because right now there is no clear-cut host. You know, it's you and I show.
We just share.
Chris Kampmeyer told me to my face it wouldn't work with two hosts. Well, you're wrong. It works. I take great pride in the fact that he was wrong, and he even admitted to me. It's not a diss on him either. I'm just saying I like the fact that it worked. Anything can work if you have the right attitude.
Well, because he's old school radio,
and we're doing a little bit of that too, right? We're doing a little bit of that too with Mr. Beast. But my point is that we've talked about having that, and I don't know if that would work. And it might work for us, but then other people would be like, well, we don't like this guy. Who the Oh, excuse me. Look at that. I'm getting real. Who the F is that guy?
Yeah. Especially
Sorry, Sam.
Because the problem being that people perceive like the host of the show as the most important, or like that's his show.
Right.
But for me, it would just be a cast, as a cast member, like this is some cast, but it would just be like a member of the show that just presents the stories or like keeps us on track, and then we are.
I try to do that.
no. But actually, I mean, so Sam could do it. And then, but the problem is,
drive me insane.
Yeah. But then, like the dynamic that we've built over so long, I feel like then we're trying to push against it.
It'd just be a different show.
It would be a different show.
Yeah, and it's like, and it comes.
It'd be weird to change now.
And
it would, and I don't want to change now. Like I really,
I'd be mad. I mean, what the hell is this old man? Like, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, and it is difficult. I mean, like I know. I mean, hell, I know we probably drive each other crazy in our own minds, you know? Like, I don't want to change really much anything else. But I do agree with you. Like, when I look at him, I see the cast of characters, because I don't know if the show works because he's trying to entertain, or if the show works because it's him and you're just looking through the window of this guy who's really living his dreams with his friends. And I think that's the part that I think you're underestimating. The with his friends part is probably very attractive to Tommy and Max, because it's their idea of thinking, imagine a world where we can do these crazy tasks, like we're living on this raft for 7 days, where we can bring, I don't know their friends, but like we can bring Jerry and Timmy and Javier and all of our friends from school along. Oh, it'd be and I see what he's doing. It's Peter Pan, right?
Yeah,
it's like me, and we're bringing the gang, and it's like, I think there's something about that works.
But it's very like, okay, if you like,
but if you got a Kevin Hart on there, I would.
Well, so
you're right.
if you look back at
Will Ferrell and Mr. Beast.
Yeah, but that's an old man thing.
I know.
Kids don't give a damn about Will Ferrell.
I know. I get it.
If you look back at like some of the original A Bunch of Friends Hanging Out content was like Jackass, let's say, in our generation, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like
the kids are weak now, so they don't stunt anymore. They just like stand on a raft and make friends with a pelican.
And obviously different content, but a lot of that was portrayed as people and all these group of friends just effing around and having fun, right?
And getting paid to do it.
And getting paid to do it. And that was very, appealing to our generation.
This is their Jackass?
It is, but
it's a version of it.
God, who would win in a fight?
But it's not. But it's very clean and very contrived. Like all what Mr. Beast does.
You know what's gonna happen.
It follows.
He ain't gonna die out there. You know that.
It follows like bits and scripts of what he wants the show to be. So it's not really just them hanging out. Like
he knows his beats.
Every segment, and then they're just like, here, we're doing this challenge. We're doing and then this challenge, and we're doing this now. It's not them just improv.
No.
Everything is every segment is planned, and they do it just amateur. Because it's not produced, or I'm sure it's produced now where they got a producer and things like that, and a director.
I don't think you can say that anymore. I think you have to say in his style. Because
in his style,
I don't think it's amateur. I do think it's produced. It's just, it's indie produced. But it's still top quality because you can't argue that he's not top quality. He's got the most eyes.
And it's just my criticism only really is that it feels, and maybe this is just how they want it to come off, it feels like especially everybody around Mr. Beast, is they're not comedians and they're not like trained entertainers, let's say. So they're not really worried about everything being the funniest joke or the most entertaining, which in my mindset, it could just be an old man entertainment thing, is like, why aren't you going for the most entertaining every second?
It's probably how you're wired.
And it's very more like chill, and they let in mistakes, and there's a unpolished aspect to it, which is probably why it's so popular with the kids, and that's what I'm missing.
Again,
is that
it's that voyeuristic window.
Yeah. I'm ingrained into an old school type of entertainment that I can't understand.
Which is bizarre because you do a podcast that is, it's not like segmented out to a degree.
No.
Sure, we have things we want to hit.
It's
maybe,
formulaic, but at the same time, it's all over the place.
Right.
We do have our beats. Like really right now,
it's not like a typical radio show.
The only thing driving me crazy right now is Weird Job Wednesday, and that's only because we've been doing it so long. But other than that, it's all over.
You don't have to keep doing that, by the way, because I'm going to run out eventually.
I want to kill it.
I know. Yeah.
I've been very
I got about
vocal.
2 months left, and then we can kill it.
I just want to think of a new thing. It can be the same idea. I want to give it a new name. I want to kill it.
Yeah. I love same idea, new name. Built this business on that.
You got another email?
Yeah.
Let's keep moving.
Yeah. Tom, don't listen to the troll listeners. I hear plenty of people say, yeah, it's fine. Come to think of it, that actually makes me question where it came from, because they are definitely not listeners, or even in our age group. Also, one of the best parts of the OG shows is your old crazy cackle laughing. No, really. It's something about the energy and hearing someone else laugh that just makes me smile.
I wrote back to this guy.
I picture the Tom and Dan tunes of you every time. So good. You be you, man. Love the show, BDM John.
Well, thank you, BDM John.
He was very kind.
No, I know. There's certain things I can't stop. And I even, when I said I purposely stopped laughing like that, I couldn't do that. What do you think I am? I can't purposely do anything.
Wow. That's the most honest thing you've ever said.
I think it just naturally evolved out of it. I don't know. I don't know if it was.
Probably subconsciously because you were in your head about
it's
it.
Subconscious.
It may be. But
and then if we get
I want to do a lot of things subconsciously, and then I've never been able to do it, so I can't believe it.
Yeah, but when you're bullied.
Yeah, bullying seems to work with him.
Bullying and peer pressure, get Tom.
My wife has been yelling at me about the same things.
Well, that's different. You block her out.
Or
you guys have been telling me the things that I can't change for years and years.
Well, you got on Adderall because I told you to get on.
Let's think about it. What
that sweet methamphetamine.
You started using Google Calendar.
Yeah, you started getting a haircut
you
because of me.
You can make changes. It's hard, but you can
Look
do
at how
it.
good his hair looks today. Like Elvis Presley.
He's got a haircut today, though.
Yeah.
Shave it off, bro. It's too hot. Just shave it off.
He's not going to shave it. He'll never do that.
Well,
I'm thinking about doing it just so he can bully me. It'll be show content.
Get a mohawk for the No Effects show.
I'm thinking about going to
no.
that, but then I keep looking at the weather, and I'm like, oh no,
That's too hot.
I got to go to a show tonight. It's going to be bad.
Yeah. I mean, it is end of September, so it's going to
Still gonna be hot.
cooler. It still will be
Do you
hot,
guys
but
get good
it will
seats?
be less. You know,
do you have the expensive seats, or do you
No.
have
General admission?
Do you have the
some crap.
GA
I got the GA, man. I'm going to be way out in the lawn, sweating.
for the NoFX?
No, for the show I'm going to tonight.
right on.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know, but I think it's general admission.
You going to get there at noon and start drinking those craft beers?
No. I
Yuck.
I already
At the
told Crystal,
fairgrounds?
I'm getting.
Hard pass on the craft beer at noon.
There's no shade out there either.
Ugh.
I thought it was under the whole canopy. You told me
the
that.
canopy's just the stage.
Yeah, it's just for the band, I thought.
Yeah, there's no canopy
you're
for
gonna
the crowd.
You're literally standing in the field like you're picking blueberries.
Hold on.
They do have that. They do have that that mini warehouse where they harbor
Yeah.
people when they pass out from the heat.
Oh, you can go lay in
I
the
thought
dead-
it was under the warehouse.
No,
What's that thing called? Remember, like Bruce
What's this thing
Rossmeyer had?
called? What's it called?
the NoFX thing.
Yeah, what's the place they're
the
playing?
Central Florida
Oh,
Fairgrounds.
the Orlando Amphitheater.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that whole thing was like a giant steel structure that.
That's just for the stage.
Oh God.
Okay, here I'm pulling it up
Yeah,
so
pull
you
up
can
that
see.
image.
All right, see the stage, Tom. Look, that's where you'll be standing right there
Yep.
in the middle of that sunshine.
God.
Yeah. Oh, I just did. Yeah. Naturally.
Yeah, you did it.
Oh no.
Venue.
Here's the here's the stage with nobody in front of it. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a giant hot box
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
But and it's not. And
rough,
September
buddy.
30th, it's still going to be blasted at 5 p.m. 6. I mean, they go on at 7. It'll be light till
It'll be
8:30.
94 degrees outside.
It won't be that bad.
No breeze.
End of September, it does get cooler. Like
little bit.
We cannot.
Not this year, buddy.
Well, the Earth moves, so like, it will get cooler. Like that's how the physics works.
It's kind of been tripping me out that everybody I know like has like a meat thermometer or like
Yeah.
a thermometer, and they're shooting their pools or they're shooting the ocean, and they're like, look, 105, look, 99, and I'm like,
We get it.
I was like, this is bad, right? Like this is
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really bad.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Really bad.
when Mike's weather pages in the ocean,
Yeah,
he's got a
he's
90.
crying.
It's 94 degrees.
96.
He's sweating as he's showing you the
96
thermometer.
at the top.
Like now, that's on the West Coast. The Gulf of Mexico is a big shallow pool.
Oh, it's
but even on the East Coast, like I was in the ocean, and I got in the ocean. And I was like, it was a little cooler than
a pool,
but
or-
it was like 88. I mean, that's just because I'm like, this is warmer than my pool.
Yeah.
And then my pool, like I got my pool the other day. The kids want to go swimming, and it was 89 degrees.
Yuck.
And then I'm like, and then it's all algae.
I hate it.
Oh, God.
Because at 89, it's hard to even
I
keep
grew
the
up in
algae out of
algae
your pool.
pools. Every pool I had mustard algae in it. Every pool, brown. I'd be swimming in there, kicking algae with my toes.
And I'm just like, this is Florida's winter. We just got to get past it. I'm in my mind, I'm just counting down the days till we get to September and
then
some
we're good.
reprieve. Because
I can't go on my balcony.
We're only a couple weeks away from September.
If you crack the door of the house, it's like somebody opened the oven.
we will eventually start getting cooler nights. Like that's all I need is some cooler nights.
At
When-
like 7.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
When some
Well, you got to wait till the time change for that.
well,
Oh, man, I hate the time change.
at dusk sometimes.
Yeah, but dusk is until like 8 p.m.
Yeah, it takes forever.
At 7, it kind of anyway.
we gotta take a
God.
break.
All right, we'll see you in a minute.